Mm-hmm. What up? What up? What up? Welcome to another episode of the Sports PSP podcast, the highlight of Friday nights, coming off work, school, whatever the case may be. I am your host, Sports PSP. Alongside me, my fantastic panel. To my gentleman down below, he is one half of the Georgia Bulldogs alum. He is a girl dad. He is Mr. ATL, Mr. Atlanta, Braves, Hawks, Falcons, whatever Atlanta sport or association you can think of about Atlanta, he knows it all. BRF Sports, bringing in real flair. How you doing, my man?
I'm doing pretty good, and I'm not gonna be as exaggerated as the Hergo media page and the IG page. Hate to shout people out like that, but that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But anyway, times are good. I can't complain. Another good week of work. I actually do have to work in the morning, but this is why I like the earlier start, so we can get the laughs in, get the fun in, and then we back to focusing on the outside life at hand. But I love doing the show because it gives us a chance to really get away get away from everything, and we focus on what we do. We focus on what we love to do, and that's talk sports. And we got a lot to talk about. Like I always say, it's a pleasure to share the spotlight with you two, and I'm ready to get into it. Life is good. I can't complain. How y'all fellas doing?
We doing good. We doing good. And of course, we can't do the Sports PSP podcast without my main man, all the way down from Columbus, Georgia. He is the five-time college degree champion. He is the military man and veteran. He is the Al Roker of journalism. He is the young Charles Barkley. He is the young Mark Henry. He is the young Ruben Studdard. He is Ace's best sibling. He is D's hysterical and hilarious friend. He is Mama Champ's number one favorite son. There's a reason why his pops called him champ for a reason. He is the big fella. He is somebody. If he stops at a barbecue, better make sure you give him a nice good plate of some chicken, some good mac and cheese, and some collard greens, even though he's trying to slim down. But still, every once in a while, he's going to enjoy a good meal. Make sure you give him some sweet tea on the side. The one and only, the big fella, undisputed world champ. How you doing, big fella?
I'm good, man. Glad to be back, man. Sorry last week, ladies and gentlemen. I had a big old storm down here. I was trying to power through it, but unfortunately, Mother Nature and Wi-Fi had another idea, so I apologize about that, man. But this week, no Wi-Fi issues, so we gonna get right into it, man. Can't wait to be talking about a lot of the things that's going on. One of the things that's going on in the sports right about now is the WNBA All-Star Weekend. League Pass. I got a bone to pick with y'all. I can't watch the 3-point contest because it's not available in our region. And I'm gonna post a video about that stuff because guess what? I paid $37 for this League Pass for the year. And so we supposed to be able to watch the 3-point contest. We can't even watch it because of y'all. So Commissioner Engelberg, I got a bone to pick with you. We need to be able to watch the 3-point contest on League Pass. There should not be any of this outside of whatever. That's dangerous.
Why can't you tell the WNBA have the 3-point shooting contest on NBC or USA Network?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, but
Oh
if you
wait,
got league pass, I mean, you're supposed to. It's league pass, is it not?
I
So it's
know,
just like
but the WNBA they're elevating. They're not
it's
getting their
league
money,
pass.
and now I'm
When I
just
watch a
saying.
game on the NBA and they say league pass, I pay them $120 for the rest of the year. I get to watch every game
Yeah,
unless it's locally televised.
they may be
So
elevating, but they still need to streamline that coverage.
yeah,
What do you always tell me about things not fair, big fella? Even though you
hey,
pay
it
your
ain't fair,
hard-earned
but
money.
hey, yeah. Hey, I want some of my $37 back. I need at least 2 cents. I'm just being real. So, I need at least 2 cents, damn it. So I'm just being real. Do something. I mean, damn. Give me a break. I mean, we try to do everything on League Pass. We try to influence everybody. So look, let's give the fans what they want to see. We want to see the WNBA. We clamored in the off season for y'all not to have no league stoppage. Now we want what we paid for. I mean, hook us up. But I'm
Exactly.
looking now, it's on Fubo for free. It's on ESPN at 8 o'clock. I just wish it was on League Pass. So
Hey, listen, you
I
got
said, I
it on
want.
ESPN. At least it's nationally televised, so you good with
Yeah,
that.
and shout out to number 44 for hosting the some of the best players in the world today at his center up there in Chicago.
Obama?
He was, yeah, number 44, not 45, 44. Shout out to President Obama
No, no,
and
now
the
see,
center.
see, you trying to get yourself into trouble. You're just
No, no,
giving
no,
bull.
no. I'm just
No, no,
saying
no,
he.
no, no. You no. Here's why you're giving BRF bulletin board material to attack the president. It's kind of like
No,
with me
no,
with Jason Whitlock.
No, trust.
Any
Hey,
chance would you
hey,
give?
hey, hey.
no, no,
It's not.
no. The
Hey,
thing
it's
is,
not the.
he.
Hey, it's not the president I'm gonna attack. I have a special group of people I want to get at for President Obama having that little camp and talking to one particular WNBA player and got a particular fan base. Little upset today. Show.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was talking to her and said, "Don't let anything get you down." I mean, and that just goes to show you how much she is a crossover star. I mean, that's
Well,
just being real. Called Asia Wilson the
he knows his basketball and he knows his sports now.
Yeah, called Asia Wilson MVP. Was able to get a lot of you know pictures with Kia Copper, Angel Reese. A lot of the top three Atlanta Dream players were there. We're going to get into a little bit of that a little bit later. But big shout out to President Obama and the science center that they built up in Chicago, and they were able to host a lot of the WNBA players, a lot of the NBA WNBA festivities were there. So big shout out to the city of Chicago, big shout out to President Obama, big shout out to the WNBA because this is a fantastic weekend, a very fantastic weekend for the W and for them to be hosted by the former president of the United States and from them to be recognized that big is nothing short of amazing. And we have to put on the fact that there's a documentary currently going on ESPN.com, All Access, featuring Dewana Bonner, Nafisa Collier, and Asia Wilson. It was all access. It started today, and they give you an all access pass, so you know everything that's going on behind the scenes. So check that out, man. These women have worked hard to get these millions of dollars that they have been, promised or what have you. They have elevated the sports. We're up to 3 million. The highest rated game this year was 3.9 million between Asia Wilson and Caitlin Clark. So let's pay attention to these women and give them their homage. And look, man, Angel Reese just got a new Barbie doll out today, man. So you know these women are doing great things and providing us great entertainment. Watch the WNBA game, get these ratings up. So one day that the collective bargaining agreement won't just be $1 million, it'll be $10 million. So let's get these women paid even more than what they're getting paid now. We know they just had the collective bargaining agreement done, but let's get them paid more. Let's get them 10 million next collective bargaining agreement. All right.
Only time will tell, big fella. Only time will tell. Let's take baby steps. But I'm glad that the WNBA is doing well. And by the way, there's no bigger woman that we love more on this pod than the magnificent and beautiful D. And the beautiful D says hello to you, big fella.
See you, D. I see you. I see you.
And yeah, she's still laughing about that reverend, the girl.
Everybody laughs at that one. Everybody laughs at that one, man. Shout out to D, man. One of the reasons why this engine runs. So thank you. Thank you for all your love and support.
Yes, and her and Mama PSP have been fantastic.
Yes, indeed.
Fellas, speaking of basketball, and we're definitely going to discuss WNBA, I definitely want to talk about another MVP. Hopefully, at some point, Nafisa Collier. We'll get to Nafisa Collier, but we got to talk about the big news that happened today. LeBron James has officially made his decision and is going to Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. If you're Adam Silver and the rest of the NBA, now finally you can release the schedule because until LeBron James was going to make up his mind, Adam Silver and the NBA was like, until he makes up his mind, we ain't going to release the schedule. But now it's official. According to Sham Charania, broke the news. 2-year, $8 million contract that includes a player option. First time with Philadelphia, they have two Finals MVPs in Jaylen Brown and LeBron. You also have two former MVPs in LeBron and Joel Embiid. I'm gonna keep it real short and simple, big fella. I think BRF, this is a good acquisition for Philadelphia. This helps elevate their chances as far as the East. I still have New York coming out the East, though. But I do like it for LeBron because he can play the point. Tyrese Maxey can still stay at the two. Jaylen Brown is at the three. The guy who they acquired from Cleveland, I think it's Ware or Wade, he's at the four, and Embiid's at the five. The two scoring options, whether number one, number two, Maxey or Brown, LeBron can be the facilitator. He can give you at least 16 a night, around with 8, 9 assists. Joel Embiid doesn't need to be as dominant. And on top of that, we know about his durability history. What I also love about it with LeBron, if there's anybody who can get into Joel Embiid's ear as far as with his conditioning and his fitness, because I've often said it before, big fella, with Joel Embiid, the knock on him, not just of his durability, his conditioning, his fitness. LeBron James is a great resource. And if I'm Joel Embiid, he's there for the next 2 years. I do everything I can to talk to LeBron James about what does it take in order for me to be in the best shape. We know what Joel Embiid can do in the regular season, but we need him, if you're Philadelphia, to stay fresh for the postseason because you're gonna have to deal with New York. You're gonna have to deal with Detroit. Now you're still gonna have to deal with Boston. You're still gonna have to deal with other teams in the East. So Joel Embiid, he's got to make sure he's got to be in the best shape that he can be. And it's been since May since they've been eliminated from the semifinals when they got swept by the New York Knicks. So I love it for LeBron. He could be a mentor for the players, the younger players. And not only that, VJ Edgecombe, the X Factor, he can come off the bench. He can provide some production off the bench. Don't be surprised he'll be a strong candidate for six man of the year because of his upside and his potential. I do like it for the 76ers chances because guess what? With LeBron there, it helps gel the team. LeBron can be the leader. Again, LeBron doesn't have to carry that much of an offensive load as far as scoring. You have Maxey, you have Brown there. They moved on from Paul George to get Jaylen Brown. I like it. I wonder how Broad, shout out to our good guy, Broad Sports, who's Mr. Philadelphia, covers his Phillies, Eagles, 76ers. I wonder how he's going to feel if LeBron James could actually help the city of brotherly love win a championship. I wonder how he's going to feel about LeBron, whether he's going to put LeBron James in that GOAT conversation. I don't know. Only Broad is gonna has to answer that for himself. But I like it nevertheless, though, for Philadelphia because LeBron can be the facilitator. Brown and Maxey can handle the scoring options. And more importantly, for anything else, if there's anybody who can get into Joel Embiid's ear about getting his ass in condition, no better than LeBron James. If you can't capitalize off of LeBron James, I don't know what to tell you if you're Joel Embiid or Philadelphia. I like it. I think it helps their chances as far as competing in the East. Do I have them coming out of the East? No, I still have the Knicks, but I do think if the Knicks don't be too complacent because it's been a long time, a little while since we've had a back-to-back champion going back to the Warriors from 2016 and 2017. You did lose Mitchell Robinson in free agency to the Boston Celtics. You still did your part to keep the rest of the players on that team. You still were able to keep Jose Alvarado. You still able to keep Jordan Clarkson, who I love a lot. I mean, Jordan Clarkson, not just because of his game, but also with his style. In my opinion, the stylish dude in the NBA. But I like it for Philadelphia's chances. BRF, I'm gonna let you go first. What are your thoughts?
I like the move. I like the move. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. Philly was last on my leaderboard as far as teams I thought he was gonna go to, because I'm thinking Miami, I'm thinking Cleveland, I'm thinking Minnesota, well before I'm thinking Philly. But I think, um, I guess I think Jalen Brown. I think them acquiring Jalen Brown was probably one of the big things that really kind of got it over the hump as far as like him wanting to go there. I like it. I I had to really think about it at first because I didn't think it really makes sense, just from a strategic and a schematic standpoint. But then when I got to looking at it, I like it. Yeah, because I think that sneaky acquisition, what you mentioned, Dean Wade coming from Cleveland going to Philly, I think it helps from like a spacing standpoint
Yes.
because if you watch the Cleveland Cavaliers, you know how good Dean Wade is as a 3-point shooter.
Yes.
So with LeBron James coming into the fold, that's immediate improvement in spacing. Tyrese Maxey can shoot the three. Jaylen Brown can shoot the three. Dean Wade, if he's going to be your starting at your four, he can shoot the three. We know Joel Embiid as a center, as a five. He's one of the best big men centers as far as like shooting the three we've seen. So it helps from a spacing standpoint because if LeBron comes in, he starts at the three. He's your point small forward. We know how good of a facilitator, playmaker. We know how high his IQ is. We know he's one of the greats. I personally, in my opinion, I think he has a great. I think he has the greatest basketball IQ in the history of the sport. And that's like and that includes Magic Johnson. And we know how high Magic Johnson IQ was. I think LeBron has the greatest IQ ever. And in terms of just understanding how a play is going to break, and just understanding where this guy's going to be even before he even lets the ball go from his hand, just knowing the spot he's going to get and able to hit that spot and execute and more often than not convert that basket. So we know how good LeBron James is. So when you really look at it, if they go with that starting rotate, if they go with a starting lineup of Maxey, Jaylen Brown, Bron at the three, Dean Wade at four, Joel in the five, I like it from a spacing standpoint and being able to shoot and just being able to really kind of keep the ball moving. There should be no reason in that starting lineup where the ball stalls at any point in time. It should never be a point in time where play slows down with a team like the Philadelphia 76ers. We know how good of a point guard Tyrese Maxey has turned himself into. We know Jaylen Brown is an underrated ball handler, and we know how great of a ball handler Braun is. So that ball should never stall in motion. That ball should be moving at all time. I really like I really like the move now for the Philadelphia 76ers. The NBA is like we're reaching historic depth levels in terms of playoff level teams in each conference. I honestly think you're looking at about at least 11 to 12 teams that, if nothing else, can make the play in each conference. And particularly since we're talking about Philly, and you're looking at the East. There's New York, there's Boston, there's Detroit, there's Orlando, there's Atlanta. I mean, Philly's in the mix. Charlotte made rapid improvements going to the end of the 2025 season.
Washington.
Yeah, the Washington Wizards are going to be there. Toronto getting Kawhi Leonard back. I mean, instantly vaults them in the mix. Go ahead, the Miami Heat. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Exactly.
sorry. Go
I don't
ahead.
even. Hey, I don't even want to give you the
What
whole
it do,
spiel.
baby?
Yeah, I don't want to give.
What
I
it
don't want to
do,
give you.
baby? I'm sorry. Go
I can't.
ahead.
I can't even see where you sitting at. I don't want to give you the whole spiel. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, like just the depth in each conference as far as teams that are potentially playoff level. I mean, I mean, we haven't seen something like this in a good while, probably since '80s, like late '80s, early '90s, in terms of just sheer raw depth. And even if you want to say 2000s Western Conference, like we know how ragged and rough and how deep those 2000 Western Conference teams was. You could have like 9 to 10 teams win like 45 games or so in those Western Conferences, as deep as it was then. So I really feel like we're going to be in for a really, really, really good season in the NBA. It just as far as just the sheer talent and the parity, and it's just like not one team hogging all the talent. Like talent is spread throughout the entire league, where all these teams have a 2 to 4 person core, 4-man core, as far as just being able to go out and compete night in and night out and win basketball games. So I really think this season is going to be fun. But going back to Philly real quick, that's definitely I really yeah, it doesn't make them the favorites in the East. I definitely still think it's the New York Knicks. But if you want to say top four, like being able to host a first round playoff series, this definitely puts the Philadelphia 76ers in the mix of that, being able to host the first round playoff series as far as getting the top 4 seed. This definitely puts them in the mix. So I definitely do think this definitely vaults them. This definitely puts them in the Eastern Conference Championship conversation. It definitely does, because yeah, you may be getting a 41-year-old, 42-year-old LeBron James who's already said Philly's going to be his last team. He's already said these are going to be his last 2 years in the league. Philly's going to be his last team. So to everybody out there who thinking you might get one more run out of Braun after this, you're not. He's already said Philly's going to be his last squad. These are going to be the last 2 years of his career, or 3, depending on if he picks up the option. More often than not, but more than likely, it's going to be these 2 years, and it's going to be it for Braun. So enjoy it, and enjoy it while you got it, because this is it. But yeah, I really do like this for Philly. I do like it for that fan base who's had to sit through so much in terms of the process with Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. They've had to sit through so much in terms of just failures and shortcomings, and to really see this team, what they did against the Boston Celtics, coming back from a 3-1 deficit to put them out the first round, and just adding on even more momentum, acquiring Jaylen Brown, and then acquiring a 41-year-old LeBron James who is still capable of
Optimum.
22
Optimum.
6 and 22 6 and 6. He is still capable of that every night. That just shows you taking care of his body and still bringing the talent that he brings, even at an advanced age, 41 years old, being in the NBA, and still being able to put up those type of numbers. So I think the Philadelphia 76ers as a team, they're going to be a fun watch. There's going to be a lot of ball movement. There's going to be a lot of threes. I think this should really improve the Philadelphia 76ers. I'll go ahead and I'll kind of put a hot take out right now. Don't be shocked if the Philadelphia 76ers are top 5 in scoring in the league. Don't be surprised. Don't be surprised.
Go ahead, big fella.
That ain't the goal. Y'all know what the goal is? I want to bring a certain slogan back to Philadelphia 76ers fans. And it's called Fo, Fo, Fo. Do y'all know who made that slogan?
Uzi. And he from
Moses
Philly.
Malone, when he got traded to Philadelphia back in 1982. Do you know what happened that year when they traded Moses Malone?
I believe they won the NBA championship.
Exactly. That's the goal for this year. It's championship or bust. They try to party like it's 1983 with him and Dr. J. That's the goal. And with this team and the coaching that they have, I think that they could get that done. I think that they could get that done. And look, man, they have the score, but they have the defense as well. I believe they have the defense as well. You know, Jaylen Brown can play his behind off when it comes to defense. Let's just be clear. But the goal is for all you Philly fans, y'all remember what I'm saying. The goal is 4-4-4. And if you're a hardcore Philadelphia fan, you know that 4-4-4 means 4-4-4. That means 4 victories for each series. 4 for each series. So, hey, I hope y'all ready to party like it's 1983, man, because this is the biggest offseason that they have had since 1983. This is the biggest offseason that you can really see it pay some dividends, that you really are going to know that it's going to pay some dividends. You did not have to give up any of your young core when it came to getting Jaylen Brown. And then you end up getting arguably the GOAT himself in order to add to the process. You did something that you failed to do before. That's land LeBron James. Remember, they tried to recruit him back when the Fresh Prince was in Philadelphia. That being Ben Simmons.
You call him the Fresh Prince?
That's what he used to call himself, the Fresh Prince. They used to call him. They used to call him the Fresh Prince. They used to say complete the process.
Should have called him the Jester with that jump shot.
But look, hey, some people are behind the times. Some people are ahead of their times. I just think he was a victim of being behind the times during his time at a certain point. Because if you really, really look at it, him and John Morant, they the same player. Am I lying?
Who's the same player?
Ben Simmons, prime Ben Simmons, John Morant, pretty much the same.
I like John Morant's jump shot more. I'll take a prime jaw over a prime Ben.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Even with the defensive advantages that Ben Simmons brings, I trust John Morant more on offense.
Okay, if you're
And I don't
asking
and I
me,
don't and I don't and I don't think and I don't think I don't think the defense covers for the offensive liability that Ben Simmons pretty much was his entire career outside the paint.
outside of shooting, Ben Simmons could do almost anything else well. He could run up the transition, he could feed the ball, 6'10", 240. He can give you a solid 15, 8, and 8. Ben Simmons' problem was just shooting in free throws. When that was exposed in that series against Atlanta, he was never the same. But before that, Ben Simmons was a perennial all-star and was in the discussion at one point for DPOY during the pandemic season in 2020 and 2021. Had not been for Rudy Gobert, you can make a strong case for Ben Simmons winning it. But I think with Philadelphia, I can't say championship or bust right now, big fella, because it's still going to take some time. How about at least try to get to the conference finals?
I mean, but like I said, when you have an off season as big as they've had, you can't help but have championship aspirations. You
I
can't
understand.
help that.
I
And the
understand.
thing is,
I understand that, big fella. But here's the thing: for a team like Philly, still hasn't gotten to the conference finals, and of course, with the expectations, again, we gotta take baby steps. Baby steps.
I get what you're saying, PSP, but I'm kind of with Champ on
yeah,
this.
Well,
you have a
obviously, well,
I
championship.
get. Hold on, hear me
You have a
out.
championship coach. You have two
Yes,
championship caliber players. So guess what? You have winners on that team. So
but
and
you're
I
it,
get.
going.
Yeah,
It's going to be
but
championship above. If
but
they don't
here's
win with this team, it's
here is the thing. With Philadelphia, we thought they were going to do something with Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. How'd that work out? Didn't work out. We saw that with James Harden and Joel Embiid. They had the chance to at least get to the conference finals during Embiid's season when he won the MVP. Yes, of course, there's championship expectations. I expect them to get to the championship, not this upcoming season, the season
I,
after that.
I'm
Because
gonna
the
be.
reason
I'm a.
why I still think that New York is still going to be the team for them to come out the East, even without Mitchell Robinson. And that is big for the New York Knicks because of what he can do coming off the bench, rebounding, and defense. I still got to be concerned about Joel Embiid's conditioning and durability, which is why I believe that's the reason why I love it for Philadelphia, because if somebody's going to hold Joel Embiid accountable as far as getting in shape and in condition, it's LeBron James. Yes, of course, there's going to be championship or bust expectations with Philadelphia. I think for them, can you at least get to the conference finals? Because you've had several chances. Forget the first series against Boston, the first year with Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid. There was the one in Toronto. Obviously, the Kawhi Leonard, the miracle shot in Game 7, which devastated Joel Embiid when he had to walk out of the game crying to his fiancee, now wife at the time. You look at Atlanta series, Ben Simmons, obviously, we don't need to go any further. Joel Embiid with the meniscus tear. Then back to back, losing to Miami in the semifinals, and then of course losing to Boston when you had the opportunity to close the deal in Game 6 at Philadelphia, and then in Game 7 at Boston, Jason Tatum lit them up by scoring 50 plus points. I get and I understand there's going to be the championship or bust expectation, obviously, with the team that they've accumulated. My thing to me is get to the conference finals, because I still can't disregard the rest of the competition in the East. Big fella, you thought there was a possibility that Jalen Duren could potentially land with the Lakers. I still believe he's going to still stay with Pistons because, after all, Detroit coming off the number one seed, and again, the money. And I think Detroit is still hurt by the fact that they lost in the semifinals against the Cleveland Cavaliers. When I look at Cleveland, I don't trust James Harden at this point, at this juncture in his career. He's proven what he is at this point.
I want to say something as far as the I want to say something as far as the Cavaliers go, real quick before we move on. Um, they were in on the LeBron James experiment, and they didn't land him. Don't be surprised if there's a big trade with one of their bigs coming up soon.
What, Jared Allen?
Mm-hmm. And I hate doing this as a Hawks fan, but don't be surprised if the Hawks do a sign and trade with Jonathan Kuminga and we get Jared Allen. Don't be shocked.
You
Well,
think we could get Jared Allen?
Mm-hmm. I
that's a
think we
good
can.
pickup.
I
That's a
think we
good pickup
can.
because Jared Allen could give you
I would
15 and 11.
I would take Jared Allen. As much as I love what Jonathan Kuminga brought in terms of bench play, in terms of his motor and everything he brought, if we can do a sign and trade and land Jared Allen and Jared Allen comes to Atlanta, yeah, I think we can literally because just watch the gears are starting. The gears are going to start turning on that. Just pay attention to that because if
I
Jared
mean, you
Allen goes
told
to
us
the
about a
Hawks,
big time trade last year
yeah,
too, so I'm not going to
if
discount what
yeah
you're saying, BRL.
if Jared Allen goes to Atlanta, that's another team that instantly jumps in the ECF Eastern Conference Finals championship contending as well. This is why I hear where you're coming from as far as like, no, we can't disregard the competition in the East at all because like I said, there's about 11 and 12. There's about 11, 12 teams that can make the playoffs, play-ins in the Eastern Conference. They're that loaded down.
Just for the
But the
record,
reason,
I'm not saying that there shouldn't be championship expectations
yeah,
for
oh,
Philadelphia.
absolutely,
All I'm saying
absolutely.
is the East is nothing to play with.
Oh,
Now,
oh,
with the
yeah.
roster as presently constructed, yes, there has to be at some point there has to be championship expectations. My thing is, if you're Philly, you got to at least get to the conference finals. Like with Paul George and Kawhi Leonard when they were assembled together. Remember, they Clippers before they didn't even make the conference finals the first time in like 50 something years or in franchise history. You got to at least get to that. That's the thing if you're Philadelphia. Yes, there's going to be championship expectations with this team, especially in a big market like Philadelphia. Because we talk about how crazy that fan base New York is. Imagine how Philadelphia is going to be.
Yeah, Philly don't play about their basketball neither. And like I said, this is reminiscent of 4-4-4, man. And like I said, the Philadelphia fans know exactly what I'm talking about. This is the biggest offseason that they've had, my humble opinion, since Moses Malone came to town. You got Jalen
Mhm.
Brown, champion. You have LeBron James, champion. And look, Joel Embiid, you only got to be 50% of what you need to be. You ain't got to pull out all the stops. They need you to be 50% of what you can be. They don't need you to be MVP Joel Embiid. They don't need you to be optimal Joel Embiid. You have to be there in the playoffs. If you are 50% of what you can be, they'll win a championship. They'll win a
I,
championship if he's 50% of what he can be. He doesn't have to be now. If he is optimal, Joel Embiid, power to him. But he just needs to be 50% Joel Embiid when they get to the playoff. And look, man, I wouldn't say no to some load management for him this season. I wouldn't say no to it. People can bitch and moan all they want to about load management, but if I know I have a player who has durability issue, I would take some precautions with it. Look, man, we're not gonna wear you out. Our goal is 4-4-4, just like Moses Malone said.
did
Go
Philly
ahead
keep
and
Andre
get a
Drummond?
championship. Huh?
Did Philly keep Andre Drummond?
Let me look that up.
Hold on. That's a good question. That's a damn good question.
Andre Drummond.
Yeah. Oh no, he went to New York, I think.
He went to. Oh, okay. But this is
I
what
think
I'll
he went
say.
to New York City, but let me.
I think he did. I think he did too.
Yeah, he went to
But
New York. Yeah, that's a good pickup after you
yeah,
just lost.
he went to them after Mitch Robinson
Yeah,
Well, they
but
left
needed
the
the
yeah,
big
Knicks. Yeah,
man to address those.
yeah, they needed a big. But this is what I'll say. I think in 18-8, 2 block Joel Embiid can really do wonders. But if they were to get 100% full time Joel Embiid, I think of completely 100% Joel Embiid, Sixers would beat the Knicks. I don't think they're going to get a completely healthy Joel Embiid, but I think a completely healthy Joel Embiid, motivated Joel Embiid, completely healthy. If they were to just putting it out there, if Joel Embiid was to give you like
if he could give you the
22,
performance
if he
that
yeah,
Porzingis
I think
did for the Celtics,
yeah,
if he could be what
exactly.
Porzingis
If
was
he could
for the
be that,
Celtics when they had their title run, it
yeah,
would be magnificent. And like I said, he doesn't have to
exactly, yeah,
be optimal and be setting records, Joel Embiid. The only thing that he has to do is be 50%, maybe even 40 of what he can be. And guess what? They'll
I
win a championship.
I think Joel Embiid's ceiling is like I say a ceiling performance this year out of him is like 22, 11, and 2.5 blocks a game. If he's giving you that a night like at a ceiling, if he's giving you that a night, I think they beat the Knicks because with the Knicks, I think their biggest weakness is when you space them out, which is what the Hawks did, which is why they were able to beat them twice in the first round. That's why they were able to give them the most headaches because of their athleticism and their ability to space the floor and being able to knock down jump shots. The problem was the Hawks didn't have a true I'm gonna go get it when the play breaks down. Philly has that. Philly has multiple of that, which is why I think I'm not gonna. I think the Knicks should be favored to win the East, but I think Philly might be the worst matchup for the New York Knicks if they were to see them at any point in the playoffs. Uh, as long as Joel Embiid is giving you as long as Joel Embiid is giving you good numbers in order, effectiveness and just being able to really help as far as the spacing and the ball movement and all of that. If Joel Embiid is giving you like 22 and 12 a night, like I said, I think Philly personally right now at this stage could be the worst matchup for the Knicks. But like I said, we'll see. We got a long way to go, and you know what I'm saying, everything's not done. There's still transactions out there that to be made. But you know what I'm saying, everybody's gonna look at it from a a what if perspective, and we can do that. But I mean, at the end of the day, the more I look at the Sixers, the more I see potential for them really doing something this year. And that's why I say I think a lot of the fans, even though I feel where you're coming from, I personally think the Philadelphia fan base and the media would treat it as a failure if this team does not get to the conference final. They would treat it as a failure.
All I said was conference finals. I don't think
They would
finals.
treat it as no, but I mean, from a championship or bust perspective, they would treat it as a failure. They wouldn't treat it as we made step, we took steps. They would treat it as a failure.
They were
I
shooting
They wouldn't treat it as improvement. They would treat it as a failure.
My thing is they got to at least get to the conference finals. Can you at least get to the conference finals? That's my thing with the roster as presently constructed. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be championship expectations, but we have to take into the fact that this is a team that's had several chances to at least get to one or multiple conference championships, and they haven't done that. So my thing is,
They
can
haven't. I agree with you, but they haven't had a team constructed this good.
since that 2018 team. Because
Yeah,
remember, they did
yeah,
have not just Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, you also had Jimmy Butler. And the reason why they let go of Jimmy Butler was because I
He
believe
was hard.
either him or Tobias. And Joel wanted Jimmy
which was
Butler.
crazy, which was crazy.
Right.
Oh,
Well, it did make sense the next couple of years because remember, they did brought in Doc Rivers. Doc Rivers and Tobias Harris, they have a good rapport going back to their days with the Clippers. So, and Tobias Harris could
right.
give you at least 20 points a night. But my thing is they should have kept Jimmy Butler because of Jimmy Butler and Joel Embiid's chemistry relationship. And in Philadelphia, it's made for Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler it has that type of personality after all. So I think for me, for Philadelphia, can you at least get to the conference finals? Because we would love to see a potential Philadelphia, New York Eastern Conference Finals. Only problem is I'm gonna blame Champ because at the end of the day, for two reasons. One, the beautiful D visits New York, lives in New York, and she visits Philadelphia. And if something happens to my beautiful D, I'm calling 911 to protect that woman.
Oh, you ain't got to do that. I will take a fly plane. I put my vest on. I come out of retirement. I come out of
Hmm.
we'll come out of retirement about D. But I'll say
Yeah.
this. Dead serious. Being all jokes aside, greatest off season that you've had, Philadelphia, since 444, since Moses Malone came to town. Hey, people might not want to talk about this. What if? And this is a big if, because to PSP's point, you got to take the first step first, get to that conference finals. You got to win that one championship. But LeBron wins another championship. That's one championship with 5 different teams. Lord forbid he goes back to back. You know those GOAT conversations are going to start heating up because now you've matched, the great one.
That's why I told you. That's why I told you about the GOAT conversations. They're inevitable. They're
Yeah, they're
inevitable.
inevitable. But if he, especially if he goes back to back
They're inevitable as you
with
with
two
the
different
women.
teams,
They're inevitable. They're
Yeah,
yeah, you go
inevitable
back
as
to
you with
back
the
with
five,
two
champ,
women.
different
five,
teams.
Yeah.
five championships with 4 different teams.
Yes,
Yeah,
which is another reason why if he wins one in Philadelphia, it's going to elevate his chances. He doesn't
yeah.
necessarily
I
need to
mean, and
win
like I stated,
6.
God forbid he go back to back and win a 6th one. That's gonna close everybody's mouth then if
I
you able
think,
to.
I
Yeah,
think, I think if Braun does that in Philly and matches Mike, I'm tempted to turn my leaf over. I'm almost tempted to turn my leaf over.
well, the thing is, you bought a championship to 2 places who hasn't had a championship, who had a championship drought as far as basketball
At least 40 years.
at least 40 years. Think about Cleveland. They have never had a championship in that town,
Not to mention the
regardless
fact,
of the team.
not to mention, you came back to that organization given
Yes,
the owner Dan Gilbert and what he said
yes,
after LeBron James left Miami. Let's not forget the letter that Dan Gilbert wrote saying that LeBron James quit and saying that the Cleveland Cavaliers would win a championship before he would ever capture one. Let's not
yeah. That
forget
was a very bold
Yeah,
statement, but you
yeah.
mean,
he was
Okay, okay, okay,
apparently
Anthony Bennett.
he had too much to drink that day.
Yeah,
Shannon
yeah,
Sharp
got too much dip on your chip.
to quote Shannon
yeah.
Sharp, there are three types of people that will generally tell you the truth: drunks, kids, angry people. And that type of situation, he was either drunk or angry. But either way, he was dead ass wrong with what he said in his prediction. Then he
Yeah,
goes to Miami. Obviously, been to 4 finals, win 2, so that's gonna help. Goes to Cleveland, especially him coming back from that 3-1 deficit was his Muhammad Ali George Foreman moment. They
yeah,
came back from that 3-1 deficit and beat the 73-9 Golden State
yeah.
Warriors with the 2-time MVP, mind you, the unanimous MVP in Steph Curry. Then he
That
goes
Shaq's
to
still mad about.
Yes. Then
Mhm.
he goes to the Lakers. People can talk about the bubble all they want. Still, at the end of the day, he was able to capture a championship given the circumstances, especially champ of what he had to deal with Genie and Jim Bus, especially with Jim Bus with
My
all the
God, I
yes.
got a bone to pick with the Lakers. Let me break something down to y'all. Y'all waited until Braun left in order to start retooling and everything. Y'all should be ashamed because the fact that y'all didn't try to move every piece around in order to do something with him, Austin Reeves, and Luca, that's a travesty. But back to Philadelphia, this is y'all's chance, and back to LeBron too. This is his chance. Philadelphia, this is your chance to win and go 4-4-4 for the first time since 1983. For LeBron, this is a championship with 4 different teams. God forbid, like I stated, he go back to back. That's 2 back-to-backs in his illustrious career. You're the all-time leading scorer. When you look at the record books, he's the Wayne Gretzky of the NBA. It's hard to ignore him because he's everywhere. It's hard to ignore him because he's everywhere. And so,
Or the Tony
if
Hawk.
he, yeah,
No, we
but
can't disregard Tony.
no,
Tony.
you can't disregard Tony Hawk. I had his posters. My big ass tried to be a skateboarder. I'm
Pl-
just being
Play,
real.
pl- played his
I failed like 80 times, but you gonna
played
try to
his
get back on
video
that
game.
skateboard.
Played his video
Yeah.
game. Some of the
Hey
most
man,
fun I've ever had playing
as
video
far as
games.
video game, the sweetest soundtrack you ever want to hear on a video game, bro.
It's Tony Hawk. It's the first Tony Hawk's Pro. It's the first
Yes,
Tony
the
Hawk Pro
sweetest
Skater.
soundtrack you ever want
Oh
to.
my god,
Yes,
amazing.
that and NBA Streets
Um,
2,
yes.
the
Yeah.
sweetest soundtracks you ever want to hear on the game. But I digress.
Two of the greatest video game soundtracks you could
Yes,
ever lay
man.
your ears on.
Yeah,
Amazing, perfection.
yeah. And to Dwayne's point, I feel like that Rob Pelinka, he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing because you have 3 players that you could have built around. You could have made a few trades. Instead, you went and got DeAndre 8. Huh? But as far as Philly is concerned, this is their chance, man. The first time since 1983, since Moses Malone in the 4-4-4 days. And look, 5 titles with 4 different teams. You just can't do it much better than that. And you all over the record books. You're essentially the hired gun of the NBA. You're the hired gun. So, hey, you want to win a championship? Go get LeBron. He's basically the hired gun of the NBA. And look, man, look, there's something to be said about being a general of an army, that being Michael Jordan with the Chicago Bulls. But when you could go to different armies and conquer different lands with different general managers, different leaderships, and you managed to bring a championship to franchises that were virtually kind of irrelevant before you got there. When you think about the Miami Heat, guess what? They were long gone from the days of Dwayne Wade and Shaq. They wasn't sniffing the championship. You came back in, brought them back in the title contention. You went back to Cleveland. Tucked them back in the title contention. You left Cleveland. You went to Los Angeles. We was on the downside because, the Kobe days were over. Came back, got us a championship. Now you're looking to break the curse of Philadelphia. You're looking to help these young players break the curse of Philadelphia basketball, a city that has not seen a title since 1983. When you put it up against Jordan, that Cleveland championship and that Philadelphia championship, if he wins this one, that's going to hold a lot of weight because neither one of those teams sniffed the championship in a long time. And don't let his ass win finals MVP for either one of these championships. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard not to call him the GOAT if he does when he does do something in Philadelphia. I know he'll win one, but if he get that 6th one in Philadelphia, it's going to heat up. That GOAT conversation is going to heat up and it's going to burn out. It might burn the whole damn building down.
Well, in the words of Lee Corso, my good friend, not so fast, my man. Let's chill. Let's chill. That's the problem. No, I'm going by what my therapist always tells me. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, because when you put too much pressure on yourself, you crack. So we don't want that. But honestly, this would be a great narrative if he wins the championship in Philadelphia, because of elevated chances. And it's going to be interesting to see how Broad is going to feel about it. So
yeah, but pressure can make you crack, but it can also, pressure can make you crack. But the thing is about pressure, if you're a Cole, in the great words of Triple H, you can be squeezed into the next diamond.
Yes, I ain't worried about LeBron, champ. I'm worried about them other players as well too, because it takes a team. But I think overall, this is a good acquisition by Philadelphia. But let's get on to the WNBA. I want to make it real short and quick because we got a bunch of stuff we got to talk about. Nevisha Collier, her first return back, 24 points, 10 rebounds, just 9 to 20 shooting. Nevisha Collier looked really good, big fella. I'll let you go on this one. My thing is this. I think with Nevisha Collier, look, I love her. Had it not been for injury last year, she would have definitely won the MVP. This just means it's just my opinion. I love Asia Wilson, but I love me some Nevisha Collier. By the way, she's the real MVP for also calling out Kathy Angelberg. She had them receipts.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Which is why it's been reported sources that Kathy Angelberg may not be the commissioner for far too long.
I was about to say the report saying 2020. There's some people saying 2026 might be her last year.
Really?
Yeah, because she's approaching the end of that contract, and rightfully so. Because, like I said, the WNBA right now more than ever needs a David Stern. You have a lot of these great players coming out of college into the WNBA. You have a star-studded league. There's a star every damn where you look in the W right about now. There's a star on every single team that you can gravitate yourself to. Got to take advantage of this opportunity. There's a star. When there's a star everywhere it's rare that you look at your entire league and there's a star on every single team that you look at. For the Chicago Sky, you got Camila Cardozo and Sydney Taylor. For Atlanta, you got the big three. For the Minnesota Lynx, you got the big three there along with Olivia Miles. Then you go out there to Las Vegas. That team speaks for itself. Then you got Caitlin Clark, the cash cow herself. Guess what? You have to.
Wait. You forgot one person. Another person.
What's that?
Kelsey Mitchell.
Yeah.
Who's definitely in the conversation for MVP.
Yeah, she had back-to-back, the 10 straight 27-point games, and Indiana Fever, I'm gonna call you out. You ain't putting nothing about her on your page. I'm gonna just be real with you, but let's not go there. But Nafisa Collier, she's definitely gonna add. I'm gonna just be real, man. I'm gonna sound nerdy as hell here. It's quite ironic that the Doomsday trailer just came out for the new Avengers trailer, and the Doctor Doom trailer just came out because Nafisa Collier coming back when you already have Olivia Miles on that team, Courtney Williams on that team, McBride on that team. It was already cooking as it was. Adding the Nafisa Collier back is like kind of like adding the final Infinity Stone to the Infinity Gauntlet. Only thing that's left is to snap at this point. Because, hey, and Olivia Miles, it's going to be interesting to see. People are going to say, oh, yeah, she's going to fall off a little bit. I doubt that very serious because Coach Reeves, no joke. She knows how to put her players in place in order to be great. She knows how to put her players in place in order to be great. Man, look, like I stated, Nafisa Collier coming back, and this team is already number one in the league. Doomsday. Doomsday. It's just a question of who's going to be able to stop them. Will it be the Atlanta Dream? Will it be the Aces? Will it be the Indiana Fever? Will it be the Dallas Wings because they're having a good year? But hey,
Or
Nafisa
your
Collier
dream,
coming back.
because now you dreaming. I saw them TikTok videos of you listening to Jeezy with Keisha Cole dreaming.
Yeah.
So they finally
Hey,
got that
look.
act. No, they finally no. The reason why because they finally got the act together. At one point, they were losing like 3-5 consecutive games to the
Yeah.
point in which you were mad at a motherfucker.
Yeah, I was mad as hell because all that talent on that team. We got talent on the bench.
And
And
then
but look,
and then not to mention that last loss against Portland.
yeah, that last loss against Portland kind of made me a little bit mad. But hey, look, you talk about comebacks. Let's not forget about Bree Jones. She just came back. So it's gonna get even scarier in Atlanta. So don't be surprised if it ends up being Atlanta and Minnesota in that finals. So just saying. Because Bree Jones, she's gonna add a lot more of a dimension in the paint along with Angel Reese because Angel Reese goes back to her true position. Angel Reese is not a center, she's a power forward. So guess what? Bree Jones will be going to center. Then Angel will be going back to power forward. I don't know if they're going to put Jordan Canada at the 3 or they're going to keep Nas Hillman there. I don't know who's going to go back to the bench.
Kilman
But
should
then
be
you got,
better off with the 3.
yeah, and then you have Ryan Howard, and then you have Alicia Gray, who was an MVP candidate last year. Then the bench would be even deeper, depending on if it's Nas Hillman or Jordan Canada going back. Then you got Medina Alcott. Then you got Pow Pow. Then you got a litany of players coming off the bench. Only thing that Coach Carr has to do is use that bench correctly, and we can win a championship. But with Bree Jones coming back, it could get scary. It could get even scarier in Atlanta at this moment of time. Ness, what's going on? But
Shout out
I'm
to
loving the
Ness.
fact that Nafisa Collier came back, man. And look, man, no disrespect, but arguably the best face card in the W right now, Nafisa Collier.
She is fine.
Yeah, that face card does not decline anywhere.
Nope.
Big fella, do you feel that now with Nafisa Collier back into the fray, do you feel like should they build around her or with Olivia Miles? Because Olivia Miles, let's just keep it going. She's running away with Rookie of the Year, and she's definitely in the conversation for the MVP. Do you think that Nafisa Collier should take somewhat of a step back?
Well, no, the thing is, this is equivalent to kind of like when David Robinson was still at his best, and then you bring in Tim Duncan. They was able
Okay.
to get Greg Popovich was able to get the best out of both of them. And I think that Cheryl Reeves, if anybody is able to do that, is Cheryl Reeves. If you look at those teams that she had with Maya Moore, Malone, just to name a few, she had some of the greatest players of all time on those teams, that being Cheryl Reeves. And she was able to get the best out of every last one of them. So when you think about Olivia Miles, you think about Courtney Williams, when you think about Kayla McBride and Nafisa Collier, she's going to put them in the best position in order to win. The two best coaches in the league right about now, Becky Hammond and Cheryl Reeves. So if two coaches can get the best out of their players, it has to be those two. So Olivia Miles is going to get hers. But the thing is, with Nafisa Collier back, that's your franchise player. She's second best player in the league right behind Asia Wilson. So guess what? Build around both of them, just like the Spurs did with David Robinson and Tim Duncan. Only difference is one of your players is a big and the other one is a guard. So guess what? Utilize both of them. Make your team even more dangerous than they already were. And the thing was, people didn't expect this from the link anyway. They didn't expect anything from the link.
Given the offseason,
Yes,
yeah.
they didn't expect. They lost
Mhm.
Atlanta Smith. They lost Jessica Shepard. They lost, and Jessica Shepard. She's playing, having her best season right now. 5 triple doubles in the season. So that just goes to show you how great that the Minnesota Link is in drafting. One of your bench players that was coming off the bench last year went to Dallas, and they are outshining the player that won Defensive Player of the Year for your team. Atlanta Smith is actually on the bench right about now for the Dallas Wings. Jessica Shepard is leading the pack in that position. So that just goes to show you how talented that team really was and how good of a talent pool and how great at drafting and talent scouting that the Minnesota Lynx are, that you lose the defensive player of the year, that being in Atlanta Smith, and then you lose Jessica Shepard, who's out there shining in Dallas, and you're still able to win games. So if anybody can get the best out of this team with the amount of talent that they have, with Courtney Williams, with a lot, and even the bench players, just to name a few, it's Cheryl Reeves. Cheryl Reeves is the greatest coach of all time. She has the most wins in WNBA history for a reason, that being 350 wins.
BRF.
I have said time and time again that Nafisa Collier is the best player in the WNBA, not named Angel Wilson. And for her to come back the way she did, yeah, she was 9 of 20, but I mean 24 and 10 in 22 minutes. That just speaks for how she was able to come back and just dominate on the court like from the jump. Um, I I think the reason why, if I'm Minnesota, I really think about keeping Nafisa Collier and building around her and Olivia Miles together is how good Nafisa Collier is off ball and how good she is as far as being able to move around the court and just being able to like not only create her own shot when she has the rock in her hand, but also she's able to move around and get into position and get, find her spots and be able to score even without the ball, whether it's getting the spot, whether it's getting in the post or
And
just,
defense.
and oh, exactly. Like I said, she's a great, I think she's the best defensive. Like I said, she's the best player, not named A'ja Wilson, in terms of offense and defense. So she brings so much. And I like I said, and we had talked about it. If Nafisa Collier came back and she's able to show what she is like from the jump, I think the only way you could have entertained a trade as far as like moving Nafisa Collier, because personally I think if she came back, if she would have come back in the first few games and really be a shell of herself, you have to entertain the idea of trading a Nafisa Collier to be able to bring back capital, possibly another player. But if she's gonna come back and be her second best player in the league self, there's no reason to get rid of her. You build around what you have, because I think Olivia Miles and Nafisa Collier can take this team to a WNBA championship. I mean, it's instantly, in my opinion, a top 3-5 guard big duo in all of WNBA instantly, just like
It,
that. That
I
that's
think
just how.
it could be like the WNBA version of Magic and Kareem if they win a championship.
If they won a championship, most definitely. I Yeah, and like that's what I was talking about as far as like what Nafisa Collier brings. I mean, she brings she brings spacing. She brings the ability to move without the ball, which is something Olivia Miles, as an elite point guard herself, loves to see. She loves being able to see her teammates being able to move around, pick spots. That way, she can get on the ball and they can execute. I mean, Olivia Miles sees that. She's thinking, "Oh man, okay, I'm licking my chops. I'm loving this." So I definitely think Minnesota can go a long way if Nafisa Collier is back. And I mean, we got to shout her out, because I mean, it wasn't necessarily just injury. She had a baby too.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's the
we
you know what
got
I'm saying.
about that.
She had a baby too. So coming back the way she did, and just instant impact, like just instant. I mean, that just speaks for her work ethic. That speaks for her game. That just speaks for everything and how good she is. So I personally think if I'm the Minnesota Lynx and I'm that front office, I'm probably gonna do everything in my power to keep this duo together for a good while. Because I mean, I know
Yeah.
Nafisa Collier is not getting any older, but she's not getting any worse. And I mean, she's still the second best player in the league. So I try to keep this together and just see what we can do as far as like, bringing championships back to the Minnesota Lynx. So, I mean, they're one of the most successful franchises in the history of the league. So, I mean, it'll be a real full circle moment if they could bring another title back to Minnesota. So I'm
Yeah.
definitely looking forward. I'm definitely looking forward to what this team can do with Olivia Miles and now Nafisa Koya back, because I think Nafisa Koya is going to just open that offense up in so many ways. Not only her ability in the post, her ability to shoot the three, the mid range, just everything. And she's a really good playmaker in her own right as well. And also plus and with the defense side of the ball. So like I said, not only is she's the best offensive big outside of Aja Wilson, she's the best defensive big in my opinion outside of Aja. So she's just going to open up so many avenues for the Minnesota Lynx to be able to play well and execute. They it wouldn't shock me at all if they go on if they went on like a winning streak like off the bat, because now you got option one back. So it's like now it's like now what do you do? Like, oh
Yeah.
man, like it's pick your poison. You're not doubling anybody with both of
And
them on the court at the same time. There's almost like there's nothing you can do. It's pick your poison.
Yeah.
and
One's
the
gonna
X factor,
one's gonna
and the
kill
X
you either way.
factor, and the X factor for Minnesota Lynx.
Courtney
Nobody, I
Williams.
don't think nobody's not giving enough credit. Kayla McBride,
Yeah, her and Courtney Williams. Yeah.
especially Kayla McBride, because what she can do as far as for 3-point shooting though. And she's averaging 18.2 points per game on 45.8% shooting, nearly 40% from downtown.
Damn.
So
Lethal. She's lethal.
you want to
Kayla
talk about
McBride is lethal.
efficiency? There you go.
Kayla McBride
Damn.
Kayla McBride is lethal. I've seen a few of the Minnesota Lynx games and I've seen her shoot. Kayla McBride is lethal.
And also fine too, as well. Fine too. So,
This is true. This
but
is
I
very
mean,
true.
her and the Fisa Koya, I mean,
Yeah. Two
no
best.
wonder
Yeah.
why the big fella keeps listening to Drake's WNBA all the time. I mean,
Hey man, look, let's give Drake. I give Drake a lot of credit. The first person to sing the praises of the WNBA was Drake. He was ahead of his
yes.
time. When you know
This is
when he
very
was
true.
on stage,
Well, it
when he
does.
was on
Well, it does.
stage, yeah,
Well, it
when he
does
was on
help,
stage at the
especially when
ESPN.
you're a ladies' man. When you're a ladies' man, and when you're gonna do anything you can to cater for the ladies are always gonna give you some love.
And then, look, remember he was on stage with Skylar Diggins, on Digging You doing the Espy.
Yeah,
So
I remember that. I
yeah, then
remember that.
remember she kissed him on his back, left the lipstick stain and every damn thing. You know what I'm saying? It was Skylar. I'm not you laughing,
No,
but
yeah,
it's
yeah. But it happened. It
it
happened.
happened. I mean, shit, I'm not with. I didn't make it up. You know what I mean?
I know.
The
But
reason
hey, he was ahead of his time with the WNBA. So I'm glad that everything kind of came full circle, and he is doing what he need to do, man. So
the reason why I'm looking very carefully, because again, BRF, I hope your kids in the background probably not going to hear what we're going to hear, because we're going to get into some stuff regarding ESPN and the layoffs. So I want to be careful, because again, there's going to be some language that we're probably going to use, and again, I just don't want the kids to hear.
Well, they're not in the room, so you're good.
But and also too, shout out to the big fella for all his coverage with the WNBA, and please check out the WNBA All Star. I hope as far as All Star picks, I'm gonna have Kelsey Mitchell. If Kelsey Mitchell can score at least 30 on an efficient night, though, I have her as the All Star game MVP. But I know the big fella in BRF, they're gonna do something about the WNBA All Star recap. Whether they're gonna do it Sunday or Monday night, please make sure you like and subscribe to the Undisputed Go podcast. And they're live last week, made huge numbers. So shout out to Undisputed World Champ, shout out to BRF, and of course our good friend from Wisconsin, Flash. And also shout out to his daughter for doing some big things as well. I think she's on the hockey team or the gymnastics team. She's doing wonderful as well. Shout out to Flash as well. And shout out to all the good fathers down there, man. Keep up the great work. But man, you got to talk about ESPN. Obviously, the huge news with the layoffs, they let go of some noticeable people on ESPN, particularly Bart Scott, Charles Davis, Carl Ravech, Tom Pelissero, Cam Newton, and Ryan Clark. I want to get into Ryan Clark real quick, because they fired Ryan Clark while he was on the air on ESPN's NFL Live. who he has helped win back-to-back Emmys. Now, it was reported by Andrew Merchland, correct me if I'm wrong, champ, of The Athletic, that ESPN, they were supposed to let go of Ryan Clark on a Tuesday morning. They fired him Monday afternoon when he was on the air because they were worried that ESPN, that the story was going to be leaked and that somebody was going to inform Ryan Clark that ESPN was going to let him go. ESPN, you fumbled the bag and how the way you handled the situation. Look, we understand the layoffs, the cutoffs, but still, that was totally unprofessional on your part of ESPN. We understand why they're doing it because obviously they're taking care of their two main commodities, Stephen A. Smith and Pat McAfee. Because Pat McAfee, there's reports about him potentially getting a $65 million per year contract with ESPN. Got no problem with ESPN taking care of Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee deserves the money. So I have no problem with that. But my thing is, they should have definitely told Ryan Clark in advance. They should have handled things in a professional manner. Another reason why I want to continue with Ryan Clark, because obviously Ryan Clark does more besides give his analysis on the NFL. We all know he is 1/3 of the Pivot podcast. He, Channing Crowder, and Fred Taylor. He recently just had an episode on the Pivot podcast, and this is what he said regarding ESPN letting him go. He said, "Let me put this to bed. I wasn't laid off. I was fired." And if you watch the video of it, he was emotional. He was in tears. He said they're using layoffs as a cover and a camouflage for what they already intended on doing. But there was no cause for it. So, because there was no cause for it, you couldn't just fire me. You had to wait till the layoffs so you could camouflage it and veil it. Clark made an appearance on NFL Live on Monday and was told during the program, as word leaked, that he was being let go from the network about ESPN's decision. Earlier this week, when Clark reshared a story from TMZ that said he was forced from the program mid-show, he wrote on X, "I wasn't forced. I asked, should I be done now? The answer was yes." As Clark reflected on his time at ESPN and sports media in general on, quote, the pivot, he began to tear up in what was an emotional scene. "When I go home and this kid from West Bank is so accepted in New Orleans now, I wouldn't change that, you know. Never. All I ever wanted to do was be accepted. So yeah, I wouldn't change." And I'm just reading an article here from Andrew Batafarano of the New York Post. I feel sad for Ron Clark that he was let go, especially in the way he was let go on the air. And I am kind of shocked because he's been with ESPN since 2015 and he has contributed for that network, particularly the Monday NFL Countdown, ESPN's NFL Live. He's done his report. He's been with the network for over a decade. The courtesy, the common decent thing you would do if you wanted to let him go, fine, but do it in advance, do it professionally. Are we surprised with the layoffs? No, because back in 2023 they let go of some noticeable people: Keyshawn Johnson, Jalen Rose, Max Kellerman, Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jackson. They let go of noticeable people, Susie Colbert. So ESPN, they were going to let go of some people for obviously to take care of the main commodities: Stephen A. Smith and Pat McAfee. As for Ryan Clark, I still believe he'll be fine because, again, he has the Pivot podcast. And as for Cam Newton, because I was listening to Dan Le Batard's show, and some of the members of Dan Le Batard's panel said the reason why they think Cam was let go of ESPN because of the interview he had with Jason Whitlock on 4th and 1, in which Jason Whitlock talked about Stephen A. Smith. No, I don't believe that was the reason. Because first and foremost, Stephen A. Smith had no problem with Jason Whitlock on 4th and 1. After all, it's Cam's show. The thing is, where I do agree with Stephen A. Smith, not just with Stephen A. Smith, Emmanuel Acho. Cam should have at least asked as many questions to Jason Whitlock about whether Stephen A was lying about his college basketball career. As Emmanuel Acho put it, Jason Whitlock has his truth. Meanwhile, Cam, Peggy, and the rest of Fourth and One, you can do your homework and discover the truth. I do agree with Emmanuel Acho from that standpoint. But I still believe Ryan Clark and Cam Newton will be fine because after all, they're doing well with their podcast. Cam with Fourth and One, and let's not forget Funky Friday. So they're still gonna have guests. They're still gonna have people. I do feel sorry for the other people who were laid off: Bart Scott, Tom Pelissero, Charles Davis. How are they going to be? I still believe they're still gonna do some things. And after all, podcasting. This is, as you always say, big fella, it's the HBO in this world. Hell, if Jason Whitlock can have a podcast, if Tucker Carlson can have a podcast, and other people can have a podcast, why can't we have a podcast? Look, Don Lemon, when he was let go of CNN, he's got his own thing. So my thing is, it's not necessarily the end of the world. Diana Rossini, I suggested, as well as you, champ, we suggested, hey, your days as a journalist are numbered because obviously the whole situation with you and Mike Vrabel. But that doesn't mean you can't earn a living. You could transition into podcasting, whether Barstool Sports or something else. A lot of people have brought up this incident between Ryan Clark and Peter Schrager, and perhaps that was the reason why ESPN decided to let go. Look, did I like how the way Ryan Clark handled that situation with Peter Schrager? No, I certainly do not. Just because you never played the sport, that doesn't mean you don't know it. A perfect example is our good friend, Donnie, Pick'em Spreads, knows his football. I'm telling you, if you watch him
Yes.
on Trent's podcast and if you want to listen to draft analysis and breakdown, look no further than Donnie himself, one of the smart
Yes.
brothers on the Flag podcast with Trent. Please
Yeah.
go like and subscribe to Donnie. But
ESPN, go hire him while you're at it.
yes, well, I mean, hell, you keeping Dan Orlowski after his reporting on Lamar Jackson. You
Exactly.
you need some upgrades. But my thing is, I don't want to take too much of the time, y'all, because I know y'all got a lot to say. It's not the end of the world for Ryan Clark and Cam Newton and others because we've seen the podcast world. Cam has definitely transitioned to Cam has too much personality and swag as well as with Ryan Clark. They can do their thing with the podcasting thing. I just hated the way ESPN handled the situation. They handled it unprofessionally. I mean, Champ, were you really that surprised? I don't really think so in your part. I just didn't like how the way they handled the matter. I feel like for someone who's worked there as long as Ryan Clark since 2015, you could at least let him know in advance.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like you should have done. We understand layoffs, we understand people being cut or whatever, but at the same time, handle things in a professional manner. If you're going to call out people for being professional, what about the people, the top executives? You got to hold yourself to that same standard. So that's my thing regarding with ESPN. How is ESPN going to be moving forward? I don't know because again, and this is just me. You let go of all them people, but ironically, Kendrick Perkins is still there, and and yet
I'm
we all
sorry. I'm
know, and
sorry.
yet we all know the situation with him and L. Duncan, and
You
we
can
all
have a
know that.
Kirk.
Yeah, you let go of some other dudes. You let go of Ryan Clark. You let go of Cam Newton. But meanwhile, you still kept Kendrick Perkins. You still kept Dan Orlowski. You still kept
You
some other
kept Mad Dog
people.
Russo.
That kind of concerns
Why
me.
the
And
hell?
then
What the? If it wasn't
it's
for that
that
radio show
that
that he had,
Stephen A. Smith played a factor as well because he brought him on first take. And another thing that's kind of interesting, I don't know if you saw Nick Bosa's retweet when ESPN
Mm-hmm.
let go of Ryan Clark.
Yep.
You know,
I
when he
saw it.
did this sign, could it be because Nick Bosa, because people have criticized you in the past because of the things that you've been affiliated for. Like, for instance, you did wear the MAGA hat, and again, that is his choice. That's the type of president that he wants to support, and that's his prerogative. I have no problem with it, but it is kind of interesting to see with Nick Bosa's reaction. I still got some more to say, but whoever wants to go.
I'll set the tone. Look, I hate that they got fired. I hate that they got let go. But a lot of those guys who walked out the door, they're gonna be fine. Like Cam Newton said, Funky Fridays ain't going nowhere. 4th and 1 ain't going nowhere. And the pivot ain't going nowhere. Bart Scott, he has his own personality. He'll find work somewhere.
Good dude too. He's a really good dude.
Real good dude. A lot of those guys, they will find work elsewhere. But I think what needs to be said is, although you are a journalist and your dream is to work for one of these big time networks, I think what Cam Newton said holds a lot of weight. It's important to have your own platform so that you can speak on your own, because major networks change their minds and change directions every single day. I think if we can learn anything from this, like I've been saying, I wasn't wrong. I was just a little bit too early. Podcasting is the HBO for a lot of journalists. Podcasting is to journalists and content creator what HBO was to a lot of comedians. You're able to have your own platform without the power of these major network television shows kind of censoring you. That's the thing. I think that if any journalist, up and coming journalist, or even a journalist that's already established can learn from this, have your own platform. Get your own platform. Because as you can see, a lot of guys, these major reporters who are being fired, a lot of these major reporters that are, you're no longer seeing them on the major networks, all of them have their own platform, and they're largely successful at this point too. You know, from Joy Taylor to the Walrus, to Emmanuel Acho, a little bit of everybody. They are successful in their own right.
Wow, big dude, fat shaming another big dude. I never seen
hey man,
that.
look, man, we could call each other fat. Y'all just can't do it. Y'all just can't do it. But yeah. But look, much respect, regardless of my disagreements with him. Much respect. You're able to have a successful platform without major news networks. That's my point here. You're able to have success regardless of his antics. The podcast is successful, regardless of antics. The thing is to get people to watch, and motherfuckers are watching him, are they not?
Yeah, very much.
For all the wrong reasons. But go ahead.
Look, I'm in the great words of the late great Eazy-E, aka Eric Wright. All publicity is good publicity, unless you're in trouble with the law. I'll say that again. All publicity is good publicity. So
if you're Andrew Tate, but go ahead.
Yeah.
If you're Martin Gaines, I guess.
Shit, the top G about to go to top security.
Andrew Tate walking around dressed like Starfire.
Got them ugly ass loafers on, look like he finna go usher at a church later on. Take that shit off. Take that shit off. The hell wrong with you? Talking about you the top G. I'm the top G. Okay.
Got them Benjamin Franklin I found lightning loafers on.
There's a reason why they call us the Hotline of Friday Nights people.
He looked like he used to wear. Did you see that damn outfit? It looked like, you remember when Fandango had first came into the WWE? Tell me that damn suit don't look like Fandango on chain.
was about to say he looked like Dave Chappelle version of Prince.
But,
Game.
hey man,
Blouses.
hey world, never try to out roast two fat dudes. We will roast you.
I'm telling you, we've heard it
We
all.
will
At this
roast
point, we
you,
don't
but
care. We've heard it
so
all. We don't
we've
care.
heard it all. We don't care. But
We don't
you
care.
cannot fat shame a person who's not ashamed.
Exactly.
But yeah, shout out to the top G who finna go to top security. And we'll see you on down the line, partner. You know.
Well, you're gonna be top flight security or something now for
Yeah,
sure.
hey man, you better put the kickboxing skills to use because you're gonna need it. You're gonna need it.
Always protect the McNuggets.
But yeah, man. Shout out to the top G.
We top flight security in the world, Craig.
We are
Not security in the world.
I hope he'll end up hey man, like I said, all publicity is good publicity. He pick up on the shit we gonna be famous for at least a few minutes. But shout out to the top G. But we got BNP over there. He's in the word
now. Man, look like you're ready to shoot a fireball right now.
Yeah. Hey, you remember that video game, World Heroes?
Yeah.
I think I do, yeah.
You remember that movie? Remember that dude at the end of the damn show had that little pirate outfit on? Yeah, the Captain Crunch shoes on. That's what he had. That's a hell of a way to get arrested when you got Captain Crunch shoes on. What the hell was you thinking all that money you got?
Not the Captain Crunch shoe.
What's up? Hey, look,
you more worse than Charles Barkley with Jussie Smollett, man.
No. What's up with them dudes be wearing them damn capri suits on? Them damn capri pants suits on. Them damn suits come right up to the law,
do not write a check.
If I bought,
the thing is, did you see them capri pants he had on?
If there was if there was an outfit in your size, would you wear that?
Hell no! My fat ass ain't wearing that. What the hell I look like? The fuck?
That man pants was so high. That man was so far in the water, boy. He was just
ready to swim right there. Look like he's gonna go salsa dance later on. What the hell you got going on? Pants just hugging his ass. That man looked like he was about to walk to Broadway.
I bet you if Destination XL, if they did something equivalent to that, you would probably wear that for money.
I'm not wearing that shit. That because it's expensive. Look, man, I always tell people that just because it's expensive, that don't mean the shit look good, man. Take that shit off. Them damn capri pants you got on with them damn old ugly ass Stacey Adams on. Man, take that shit off. Look like you finna go
homeboy. I'm like homeboy from Scandal. Shit.
Hell no. Look like you finna go work for Bumper Johnson later on. Take that shit off.
Oh, what? Boy, look like he about to go work for Fleece Johnson, but that's a whole nother thing.
But back to ESPN, back to the point, big fella. I think Ryan Clark and Cam, they're gonna be fine though, because to your point, as you always say, podcasts is the way for people to go nowadays, and we're seeing a lot of people doing it. You don't, whether if you're a big namer or a no namer. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, look, Shannon Sharp, when he did that interview with Cat Williams in 2024, that did set the internet. I mean, over 90 plus million views on YouTube. But and the thing is, the bigger problem with ESPN, again, journalism. We got to get back to the world of journalism. We got to get back to the world of reporting. Remember what Michelle Obama said? She said it about ESPN. And again, coming from her of all people, for her to say the position on ESPN, if that doesn't tell you where ESPN is, what does it say?
Well, I'm gonna just be real. Here's my thing. You have to come up with better content than just hot takes and just stuff like that. A hot take is for the beginning of the season. The hot take is for the middle of the season, and even at the end of the season. And as the playoffs begin, you shouldn't have a hot take every damn day. It shouldn't be hot takes every single day. And I think that's ESPN's problem at this point, to the point where it's starting to turn off viewers. You can't have a hot take every damn day. that just defeats the purpose of a hot take. A hot take is who's going to make the playoffs that did make the playoffs last year. Who can win the Super Bowl? Who can win the NBA Finals? Who can you see regressing? Those are hot takes. You cannot have a hot take every single day and basically expect to look at viewers and say, hey, this is watchable. Because too many hot takes, you're insulting my intelligence at a certain point. Too many hot takes, you're insulting my intelligence. And it's at a certain point, you're just doing it for clicks at a certain point. It's just you're doing it for clicks at a certain point. You're insulting my intelligence. You think I'm a dummy as a sports guy, and you just don't respect my intelligence as a sports fan. Too many hot takes, too many guys in a position where they ain't got no business being, and a lot of fake news and false reporting. You know, you saw that with the whole Lamar Jackson situation with Dan Orlovsky lying live on the damn air when the guys literally at training camp. Like, what kind of shit is this when your own journalist can't feed you the truth? That is a problem. And so I think combined with the fact that you're seeing way too many of the big names because back in the day, although Stuart Scott was one of the most popular names, he wasn't their only name. He was their biggest name, but he wasn't their only name. You still had Dan Patrick, Charlie Steiner. You still had Chris Berman. You still had a lot of those big time
Chris Mortensen,
reporters.
John Clayton.
Yes, you still had those big time guys who could get you a good story. They could get you some good takes. They could get you some good journalism at a certain point. But right now, it's like I said, it's too many hot takes, too much non-journalistic stuff going on, and not enough journalism going on. It's only so many hot takes you can see in a day before you turn the damn TV off. You know, it's only so many that you can see in a day that are gonna turn for you to turn and that's just gonna influence you just like this is some bullshit. I'm not gonna watch this anymore. And I'm gonna turn the television off. And like I said, hot takes are for the beginning and the middle and even the end of the season going into the playoff. Hot takes every day, it turns your stomach. It's kind of like it's kind of like eating McDonald's every day. McDonald's is for Thursdays, maybe even Fridays. It's not every damn day of the week. You don't go to McDonald's and get a Big Mac every single day of the damn week. Otherwise, it becomes unhealthy. And eventually, you're going to roll over. They're going to have to cut that foot off. But I digress. So that's what hot takes is to sports. It's McDonald's. It's something, it's fast food in order to satisfy a craving, and then you move on. And when you have it every day, it's pretty much bad for sport. That is why, that is exactly why ESPN is faltering at this point. There's no true journalism at this point. There's no big time stories. There's no, behind the glory. There's no documentaries that we can literally see late at night that are 1 hour documentary. There's no more sports century. There's no more exclusive interviews as
30 for
far as
30s.
yeah, as far as remember up close was good when they used to have Roy Firestone when they used to have Jim Rome on up close. There's no interviews. There's no you have when you are a sports network, you have to be sports. And there should always be coverage on a sport, even if it is an obscure sport, even if it's volleyball. We want to see sports, not a bunch of hot takes and a bunch of insulting the viewer's intelligence. Sports fans are one of the most loyalist viewers that you ever want to have. But eventually, you keep insulting their intelligence, they're going to take the remote and they're going to turn the TV off. Or in this case, they're going to turn the internet off on you. Because guess what? It's only so many hot takes that you can say before you're insulting someone's intelligence. And I really believe that one of the main reasons why is that a lot of viewers feel like that ESPN, they're insulting our intelligence. Because, like I said, a hot take every day is a bunch of bull jive. Can't have a hot take every single day. You can't have this jargon every single day where somebody has to have a hot take. Somebody has to be in some drama. You're not reporting on the W or anything like that until there is drama. There's have to be something better than that. And the thing is, drama makes sports cool, but that should not be the only story that you have. Drama shouldn't be the only story that you have. Right now, it's WNBA All-Star Weekend. Luckily, I'm looking at it right now. They have the three-point contest on there right now. That's what you should be reporting on. Second half of the season is coming into W. Who is the most dangerous? Who should we be looking out for? Who is going to be the X factor for each prospective team? Who should be more focused on tanking at this point and getting Juju Watkins and potentially getting Audie Crooks? Those are the things that we could be talking about in the W. That's just the shit we could be talking about in the W. That ain't even including, we only got 49 days for that pigskin get here, baby.
Not just with
49
NFL, college
days.
football.
49 days for that pigskin get here. So guess what? You got a lot of takes that you could go. Who had the best offseason? Who's the do or die? Who this year is do or die year? Who has the most to prove? Who needs to prove something? Which coach that just got fired or went to another place? Who has the best chance in order to rebuild a program? Who has a better chance in order to win a Super Bowl? Or we underselling the Seattle Seahawks? Shout out to Brandon from the block because he's been saying that the entire time. That is the shit that you should be talking about as a sports journalist, not a fucking hot take every 5 seconds. Because if you really want to be honest with you, one of the biggest stories, shout out to Brandon from the block, like I will say once again, should be why are we so busy bigging up the LA Rams and not giving the Seattle Seahawks enough credit and saying they could go back to back? They had a good draft.
Because I think
they had a good draft. They bought a lot. They bought back their core players. They did a lot of great things in the offseason. But yet the main story is Myles Garrett and is Aaron Donald going to come back? They're in the same division. Who was the Super Bowl champs last year? Seattle. And you got to think about this. If they beat them in the playoffs or have a better record than the Los Angeles Rams, not St. Louis Rams, the Los Angeles Rams, is it really a shocker considering that they do have the dark side defense on their side? That's a lot of things to think about, not just a bunch of hot takes. And the fact that, hey, Patrick Mahomes has one of the better running games that he's had in his entire career. They went and got Kenny Walker. So guess what? He's not going to be, and I think they could run him for at least one season for 300 times in a season. They're not going to be as heavily relying on his arm at the beginning of the season until he's able to get healthy. They're going to be able to ration him out. They're going to be able to ration out the passing game just a little bit more. I think that those are good stories. You don't need a damn hot take in order to make a damn show. You need knowledge. You need wisdom. You need analytics. That's what you need. And I believe that ESPN is stepping so far away from that. That's what's starting to turn people off.
BRF.
Champ, that was eloquent, my good sir. How do you follow that, boy? He nailed a lot of really, really good points in that segment. Shout out to you, man. You continue to do your thing. But he's right, and he's right though. To focus on like the layoffs, I mean, it's unfortunate because you don't want to see anybody lose their job. I mean, you just don't. Ryan Clark, you can say what you want as far as like his social justice work and what he tried to focus on, like away from ESPN and all of those stuff. But at the same time, you have to look at it. He's a very knowledgeable person when it comes to the game of football. I mean, he was one of the better, more underrated safeties in the league for the better part of a decade. Whether it was with the Washington Commanders or whether it was the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, homeboy put in work, and when he talked about that one particular pivot segment where he had where he was talking to Shannon Crowder, and they was like they changed rules because of me. They kind of did. When you looked at the way he played and how hard he hit people and how late he hit people, and they really weren't calling it like that until he really started doing it, and they had to start focusing on calling that personal foul more because, bro, Wes Welker will tell you that Ryan Clark mean business. I promise you that. One of the worst hits I've ever seen on the football field was what Ryan Clark did to Wes Welker that one particular game when the Steelers played the Patriots, when the Steelers was on the road, and Ryan Clark could care less who's running across the middle. You're gonna get this work. So yeah, he's very, yeah, and here's the thing though, like people want to talk about like someone being stupid or like not knowing what they're talking about. You're not gonna agree with everybody's takes. Because I mean, Ryan Clark had takes I didn't necessarily agree with. I'm saying Cam Newton had some takes I didn't always necessarily agree with. Um, but at the same time, they're speaking from their perspective, from their point of view, as being former players who are out there on the field, who was on the grind every week, being able to, like, not only just being on the practice field, but being in the room, like, in the film room, like looking at the game tape, studying the film, understanding coverages, understanding offensive, defensive linemen in terms of their keys and where they're going to hit and how they're going to attack the hole to throw your running game off, or certain things like that, certain schemes in the backfield. Like they understand stuff like this. Um, you never look forward to that, because a lot of these big companies do this, have like these real mass layoffs. Like WWE just did theirs a few weeks ago. They just had mass layoffs. So I mean, every major company does it, and it's unfortunate that a lot of these names go through that, because we can, because it's like we said, some of these people we feel like might not have deserved it. Then you got people who still have their jobs that you probably would have been less surprised had they been laid off or fired. So it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, but yeah, Ryan Clark's gonna be good. Ryan Clark's gonna be good. If anybody's gonna be good, it's definitely gonna be him. The Pivot podcast is one of the hottest podcasts in the world right now, in terms of just the exposure, and just week to week, just the depth, and just how good of a show it is, and the depth of the guests they have, and the variety of guests they have. Like, not too long ago, they had Laura Rutledge. They had Laura Rutledge on there as a guest. I mean, it's just
Had Dana White.
yeah, they had
The
Dana White.
Rock,
Yeah,
Shaq,
they had
Mike Tyson, Mina
exactly.
Khans.
Exactly. They it doesn't matter. They pull you from all over the place, and they're welcoming. They have you in the pod, and they're pulling a number. So I mean, he definitely doesn't have nothing to worry about. And 4th and 1 is one of my favorite ones to follow and watch on a weekly basis. I love Cam. I love hearing Cam, and particularly him talking about football. People just don't realize how smart of a football, how high of a football IQ Cam Newton really has. I mean, you just kind of look at him and how his style and how he played quarterback. You know what I'm saying? You always just assume he's a one read and go type of quarterback. But when you hear him talk, it's like like the man really got it. He understood the coverages. He understand one read, two read, three read. He understood shifting the offensive line. He understood. Like, one of my favorite highlights to watch was when the Panthers was playing the Packers, and you could hear Claire Matthews say, "Here comes," what I'm saying, "Here comes that wheel route. Here comes that wheel route." And Cam Newton's like, "Yeah, you watch film, huh?" He's like, "Well, hey, I do too. Watch this." And he basically shifts the play around, and is still able to get off that wheel route with Christian McCaffrey, and was able to score a touchdown. I mean, it's just about the knowledge of the game, which Cam Newton has, and a lot of people don't really give him the credit he deserves for that, because he's a really smart guy. and and it's, I don't know. I guess and a lot of, like you PSP brought up the Nick Bosa, the quoted tweet where he basically threw up the AOK emoji as far as Ryan Clark getting fired. I mean, we know what's going on, Nick Bosa. You ain't sugarcoating it. We know what's going on.
Pretty
You ain't got to
obvious.
hide. It's obvious. You ain't got to hide nothing. And you know what I'm saying. A lot of people that are kind of like, I don't want to, even if it was like someone I never agreed with get fired. That ain't, you don't wish that on nobody. You don't wish nobody being put out of a job and losing the ability to financially, just kind of do what they need to do at the time, even though, in a
Unless
lot
if
of
you're
these,
Jason Whitlock.
you know what? Honestly, though, I'll be honest with you. I don't wish him getting fired, because at the end of the day, he still got a platform, and he still got to provide. So I mean, isn't, what I'm saying? Whether it's for himself, family, don't even matter. I don't even want to clown him right there, because this is, for me, it's like a serious topic we talking about, because we talking about people losing jobs, and you don't wish that on nobody. Even for Radio and Fat Albert's love child. I don't wish that on him. I'm just saying. I mean, it's a whole nother
Bro,
conversation.
chill, chill,
But
chill.
hey,
And
hey,
y'all
bro,
talk
come
about
on,
me.
bro. Look here, just because I don't wish him being fired, don't mean I'm not gonna fire him up when I get a chance. I mean, I'm just saying, he still can be a remote idiot at times. But even still, I mean, he's doing he
SSM. I think y'all know what that stands for.
yeah,
Simple Simon Mother.
To quote
exactly.
Denzel from the movie American
Denzel
Gangster.
from American Gangster, like one of my favorite movies. Absolutely, but I, it's just it's really just one of those situations where you for everyone that was let go by ESPN, you just wish them the best and you hope they're able to either get back on their feet or they're able to progress and continue to succeed. And you wish them nothing but the best. I ESPN needs to get back to the basics. I mean, this whole trying to be like an entertainment network and all this other stuff. I mean, ain't nothing wrong with entertaining, but at the same time, your bread and butter is sports. The way you came up in the game, the way you grew up and turned into the biggest sports mogul in the world from an internet and from an entertainment network perspective. You got there through the Stuart Scotts, through the Rich Eisers, through the Charlie Steiners, through the Dan Patricks, through the Kenny Maynes. You
Stan Vera.
the Stan Varys, the John Andersons of the world. You I mean just you got there through the real journalistic abilities of all these men and women, Linda Cohn, Susie Colbert, like women just had that really honed their craft as far as what they did from a journalistic perspective. This is how you came up in the game. You're forgetting that because you just see the quick views and the social media and just how can I make a quick buck if I just say this little bit of nonsense, or how can I get it out there in a way that doesn't seem too crazy, but yet I can still pull in my views and I can still get this. I think a lot of they're worried about a lot of the wrong stuff nowadays, and they got away from what made ESPN truly great, because it's like even though Sports Center is the premier show still to this day of ESPN, it wasn't just Sports Center that was like getting the headlines. It was,
Yeah.
what I'm saying, Champ brought up the up close interviews. I mean, you have like on like the like early around the horn, early part in the interruption. You
Let's
had
not forget E60.
yeah, the E60 used to produce some of the best quality, whether it was interviews or just storytelling, just they were able to really reel you in and tell a story to the point where if you saw that athlete playing in a game, you're really you're rooting for that athlete because you know their story and you learned their story and you gotten into it really in depth with them to really understand who they are and their kind of like their internal make, like what made them who they are. So you get to root for a lot of these athletes you didn't necessarily know before because of like the E60s, because of like the sports centuries, when you're looking at like when it talks about current athletes that are doing their thing, the 30s for 30s and like just stuff like that. So and even shout out to shout out to Sports Science back in the day. Oh man, like the host of that show, who's around for a long time, passed away
Yeah.
a while back. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to that host of Sports Science who really did his thing. Just storytelling and just really get into the depths of what makes sports great. And ESPN, I feel if they really want to kind of get their true fan base back, they really need to get back to the basis and what made
John
ESPN.
Brinkus,
Yeah,
BRF.
yeah, John, yeah, exactly. John Brink is a sports science. Yes, RP to him. He was an amazing host, and that was one of the coolest shows I've ever seen. Like, just telling, just talking about like just different calculations and like particularly like whether it was a just like particularly like he had like a I want to say he had a baseball episode because you know how much of a baseball person I am and just understanding speed and just torque and like just the contact just teaching you so many things. Like ESPN really got away from like teaching, whether it was through interviews or whether it was through stories. I feel like ESPN really got away from just the true teaching aspect of what sports is, and now they're just worried about the entertaining side of things. And I really feel like they would bring a lot of the fan base back if they really got back to the basis and what made the network what it was and what made it click and what made it truly grow into the phenomenon that it still honestly is. It's just that a lot of it's really kind of taking center stage for a lot of the wrong reasons. And as still being an ESPN person myself, we all being in sports, and whether it's journalism, podcasting, or anything like that, honestly, everyone would just, if we were just invited to that studio, to that network for a day or two, just to see how it goes, and the goal is to ultimately, just to appear on one of the shows, even if it's just for 5 minutes, just to take in that experience. Like that has been like a bucket list dream of mine for like ever, like since I started watching sports and understanding what ESPN was. Just that's a goal. That should be like one of the goals for all of us. But they need to get back into what really made them what it was. Just like the go to, the premier sports network. Just everything. And even with the competition that was coming in, whether it was, in particularly the Fox Sports Network being its real true competition. I mean, even though Fox Sports was a really good network, it still wasn't holding the candle to ESPN. So I just think ESPN as a whole really needs to get back to what made it great. And just, I don't know, we don't know when it's going to be, but what I'm saying, we'll see. And just definitely shout out to those who did lose their jobs. But what I'm saying, just we hope that they do get back on their feet. A lot of them are going to be okay. We don't know all of them, so we just root for them. And it's just one of them things. We just kind of we can't really analyze the future, but we just kind of hope, even though it probably won't happen. You hope ESPN as a whole, as a network, can kind of look at itself in the mirror and just get back to what made them great. But what I'm saying, only time will tell for that. So we'll just see where it goes.
In order for ESPN to get their shit together, they just got to get back into focusing sports. But the thing is, they have to stop being so complacent and just think about just looking at the ratings, just thinking about just entertainment. If you keep doing that, you're going to drive a point where people are going to be tuned off. Forget not just their intelligence being insulted. They feel like this is the type of content that you can provide us as sports fans, and you give us this shit. It's like giving us spam or Vienna sausage. It's like giving us chitlins or pig's feet. They're gonna be tuned off, and they're gonna find something else to listen to, and that's why they listen to other podcasts. Doesn't have to be big time; it could be other podcasts, and they're gonna listen to that. But ESPN, they just got to get back into going into sports. But speaking of ESPN, Lord, Rex Ryan,
Mm.
Shador Sanders did a photo shoot in which all his jerseys were on a driveway, I think, and then Rex Ryan, a critic of Shador Sanders, said, "Get a load of this kid. Great talent, needs to realize as a quote franchise QB, there has to be more we than me." Come on, man. Here's what I'm gonna say regarding Rex Ryan. Rex Ryan, I would know because I live in the New Jersey area. You were the head coach for the New York Jets. Mark Sanchez was on the cover of GQ. Did you have a problem with that? Yes, big fella, I saw your video. As always, great minds think alike. You didn't say that about Mark Sanchez at the time. Why? Because you were the head coach, he was the quarterback? Had you said something about Mark Sanchez being on the cover of GQ, it would have been a distraction to the organization and the team, and the media would have a field day because, after all, even though it's in New Jersey, the New York media, and you know how the press and the media are there, is it because you're saying it now about Shador Sanders because of the position you're in with ESPN? Because you've been an outspoken critic of Shador Sanders? Is this your way of trying to get some clicks, some views to help out ESPN? Because Shador Sanders is flashy? Because of the chain, the celebration, him being the son of Deion Sanders? People thinking that he's just nothing more than a Nepo baby? Rex Ryan, I don't mind you criticizing, but only when it's necessary. If you wanted to criticize somebody, why couldn't you criticize Cam Scatterboo's ass for what he did Fanatics
Yeah.
last week when he did that backflip? And by the way, why would you do that when you just had a season-ending injury while you're in the middle of a rookie contract? if you also wanted to criticize someone, Rex Ryan, because we're in a world where we go by photos and videos, we see it better than we hear it or read it. Am I lying? Why couldn't you criticize what Puka Nakua did, what he's being accused of? Did y'all see the recent photo of the bike mark?
Oh yeah, he out here Mike Tyson folks and shit. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, we see it better than they hear it and read it. So you could have criticized that. Hell, just to help, just to for the big fella to celebrate, because we all know he has been an outspoken critic. Why couldn't you criticize Rasheed Rice's ass at the time when he violated his probation and had to serve 30 days in jail? My thing is, Rex Ryan, you could have had other opportunities to criticize. You chose Shedeur Sanders in this particular situation. Again, I don't have a problem with what Shedeur Sanders does. It's just a photo shoot. It is what it is. I don't really care. It's not. I don't really care what he does regarding that. But you choose this to criticize Shedeur Sanders, not his play, not whether if he's being a good teammate or studying, watching film, doing what a football player, a professional athlete is supposed to. You criticize this, and you accusing him of being more me than we. You're accusing him of being selfish and self-centered. You could have criticized Cam Skadbu for what he did Fanatics last weekend. You could have criticized Puka Nakua. You could have criticized other athletes. There are other things you could have used your platform for. But instead, you did that. And Dwayne, the only good career that Rex Ryan had of him yelling at his team about the McDonald's. Oh, yeah, I remember the Hard Knocks episode. But my thing is, Rex Ryan, you had other opportunities to criticize, and you criticized Shedeur. Could it be because you have an agenda against Shedeur? Could it? And a timeout. I'm not saying this has anything to do with race, because obviously some people are gonna look at it as Rex Ryan, an old white man, Shedeur Sanders, a young black man. It's not what I'm saying or indicating. But I am saying is, Rex Ryan, you've been a critic of Shedeur Sanders before. And of all the times you criticize him, you choose this. Meanwhile, you could have criticized Cam Skadbu. You could have criticized Puka Nakua. You could have criticized Rasheed Rice. You could have criticized other football players for what they're doing. But you choose this. And Mark Sanchez, he was on the cover of GQ. You didn't say anything. I don't mind you criticizing. Just criticize when it's necessary and appropriate. And Rex Ryan, you ain't a fool. You a new fool. Big fella, the floor is yours.
Isn't you the same coach that got criticized for having somebody's feet on the front page news? This is the same motherfucker that was exposed a foot fetish in the Daily News. So who the fuck are you to be talking about anybody? And you're the coach. You're the leader of a team. And this ain't something I'm just making up. This is something that you did. You talking trash about Bill Belichick, telling something. I'm not here to kiss his rings. Was it that you? Huh?
Only way he gonna get close to rings because he ain't got his own.
Yeah. Wasn't it your team that went out there? Didn't you tell your team to cover up when they played the New York Giants? Didn't you tell your team to cover up the New York Giants Super Bowl banners as they was walking into the stadium? Wasn't that you? Oh, and let's not forget that very same day that he did that photo shoot, him and several other of his teammates, that being Shedeur Sanders, hosted a free football camp for over 500 kids. And they did a flag football game that day. And Shedeur Sanders gave away free stuff, gave away gold chains and everything at that football camp for the winners of that flag football tournament. So while you're criticizing a photo shoot, we're not literally going to look at the fact that this young man has been involved with the community and hosted a free camp. Usually it costs you money to go to these camps, but this camp was free to 500 kids. And then the winners of the flag football competition, he gave away free chains. He gave away a lot of prizes to them as well. If any other quarterback had done that, it would be front page news.
Imagine if it were Josh Allen or Joe Burrow who did that.
Exactly. So all of this criticism is unwarranted. He's a young quarterback. This is just his second year in the league. First couple years, you're going to make mistakes. First couple years, guess what? You're going to do photo shoots. You're going to do music videos. You're going to do certain things. Hell, ask Mike Vick. Ask Jalen Hurts. Ask any quarterback that has been in this league. You're going to make these public appearances. You're going to be a celebrity. You're the biggest celebrity on your team. You're the most popular guy on your team. Everybody knows the quarterback when you get off the bus. They don't know the line. If they don't know the lineman, they don't want to know the running back. They don't know anything. They know who the damn quarterback is. So you as the quarterback is going to get notoriety that your other teammate don't necessarily get. It happens. So for Rex Ryan to be coming out criticizing after he was one of the biggest characters in the history of this game, as far as being a head coach is concerned, talked all that mess, had these over-the-top antics in Hard Knocks along with his team, you're not one to be talking. You're not one to be talking. If you would have been like a Tom Landry type of coach, if you would have been another type of coach, then guess what? I would be more. If you was a button up type of coach, like a Tom Landry or somebody like that, I would pretty much respect your word at a certain point. But you wasn't. You was very, very loud. You was very, very obnoxious, and you did shit to bring attention to yourself. So if anybody knows anything about being a me guy, it's you, Rex Ryan. Because you brought a lot of attention to yourself. And unfortunately for you, your coaching did not match your game because you only had 2 good seasons. 2 in your entire NFL career. So from exposing your foot fetish to telling your players to cover up the New York Giants and Super Bowl banners, to doing a lot of other crazy stuff on Hard Knocks, including let's go get a damn snack.
Or telling a fan one time to shut the bleep up.
Yes. You should know all about being a me guy because guess what? You did a lot of, in the great words of Samuel L. Jackson, fucked up repugnant shit in order to bring cameras to the attention of you. And it took away from your team. And that's why you were eventually fired from everywhere you went. That is my argument, Your Honor. You have the floor.
BRF?
Your volume off, man.
Yeah, we can't hear you, BRF.
Can't hear you, partner.
Okay, we on. Okay, we good. Sorry about that, folks.
No, it's all good.
But I don't want to hear from a head coach who was never able to develop a franchise quarterback at any point in time in his career. I don't want to hear that. Your claim to fame was getting to an AFC championship twice with Mark Sanchez, and we know what his claim to fame is, but fumble. But
during the time he acquired Tebow.
Another move to bring attention to the franchise rather than wins.
Exactly.
So I don't want to hear nothing else about Rex Ryan and bringing attention to himself. You're projecting at a certain point. It's kind of like somebody. It's kind of like me laughing at somebody going to the buffet.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just being real. But Rex Ryan talking about somebody being a me guy. It's kind of like me laughing at somebody going to the buffet. What the hell am I doing laughing at somebody going to the buffet knowing damn well I'm finna go up there and load up at least 3 plates?
Exactly. Knowing Rex Ryan was one of the ultimate like me coaches like in the league. Like it's like he says so much off the wall crazy stuff, and then the antics like, and it's crazy to think about with Rex Ryan because he's one of the greatest defensive minds we've ever had to witness to watch coach in the National Football League. I mean, we understand, he never won a Super Bowl as a head coach, but at the same time, we have to praise him to an extent, being able to get those New York Jets teams to back-to-back AFC championship games, particularly with those offenses that they had with Mark Sanchez at the helm, they were average. They were average to not good, and the fact that he was able to get them there because of the defenses he cultivated with those New York Jet teams, I mean, it speaks to how good of a mind he is defensively. But I don't want to hear somebody like him want to talk about Shadur. It's crazy how so many people just want to just rag on and get on Shadur Sanders when honestly, when I look at him, I think all he's really doing is just living life. And I mean, it's like he and the way he conducted his interviews after he became the starting quarterback of that team, like he never put himself out on the forefront. If somebody said something and they tried to bait him into saying something he hadn't been to saying, he read it and he took it into the right direction in terms of putting the focus on his team, not putting it on himself, and not throwing people under the bus, which he was baited to do on multiple occasions, and he never did it. He put the focus on the team and how the team as a whole needed to get better, and him being at the forefront of that, needing to get better. So he showed himself to be very media savvy when a lot of people said he wasn't media savvy coming into the league. He showed how media savvy he was, and why wouldn't he be media savvy when his dad is the greatest corner in the history of the sport, who like basically was like media personified in terms of like the spotlight that was on him on a weekly basis his career in the NFL, especially at his peak in terms of a Deion Sanders. I just Rex Ryan really needs to just leave Shadur Sanders alone at this point because it's getting
Apparently,
old.
he's obsessed with him.
He really is. I mean, Shadur Sanders lives rent free in his head.
It's like Jason Whitlock obsessed with Stephen A. Smith. He won't stop talking about him.
And is that yeah? Because at a certain point you feel like you can't be that other person that you're obsessed with because it's because it's jealousy almost to a certain extent, and it's just sad because Shadur Sanders being a rookie, yeah, he made mistakes. He didn't play. You know what I'm saying? He made mistakes. I mean, he made rookie mistakes, but you know what? We saw glimpses of what Shadur Sanders could possibly be as an NFL quarterback. We saw glimpses of what he could do. We saw him we saw him basically damn near beat the Buffalo Bills. I mean, we saw that. We saw him even though it was the Tennessee Titans. We saw him light them up.
Best
Three
game of
for
his career so far.
yeah, best game of his career was the Tennessee Titans throwing over 300 yards, just lighting them up. We've seen glimpses. We've seen we've seen the accuracy. We've seen because I talked about it when Shadur Sanders was coming out of college, was coming out of Colorado. It was his accuracy that a lot of people really didn't give him a lot of credit for. His ability to make throws, to make all the throws, to make throws that other quarterbacks couldn't make. We saw glimpses of that. That game, like the game time touchdown, I believe it was to Harold Fannin. That game time touchdown that he threw to him. I mean, just we've seen glimpses of what Shadur Sanders could possibly be. And I mean, just a simple photo shoot. Had a lot of 12 jerseys in it, in the driveway. Just a simple photo shoot. And then here comes Rex Ryan wanting to run his mouth. Always want to, just so quick to want to call out Shadur Sanders for being selfish. And like yo said, man literally had a football camp. Man literally had a football camp for hundreds of kids. And not just that, being there and taking time with a lot of those kids to talk to them and help teach and help them as far as like giving them that knowledge and giving them that advice to progress not only as future football players but as men period. And I mean, you got to shout out a young guy like Shadur Sanders putting himself out on the forefront like that, wanting to be a leader of men, not just to those kids, but then when you go back to the football field, like it was just you could kind of see the teammates kind of take to him after he became the starter. And it was really, and I think a lot of it was like his interviews and just how he conducted himself as a man. And if you're an NFL vet and you see a rookie who kind of taking charge and taking a lead and really,
Even Miles Garrett, before he was traded, he even had positive things to say about Shador Sanders. But my thing is with Rex, if he wanted to criticize someone, why couldn't you just criticize Deshaun Watson? Because after all, he's expected to be the starter. I believe it should be Shador because Deshaun Watson, I'm sorry, he ain't what he used to be. And the only reason why they're starting him, obviously, because of how much money they're paying him. If you want to criticize someone, why couldn't you just criticize Deshaun Watson? To quote the big fella, what you post on social media is an indication of what you're focusing on. Has not undisputed world champ criticized Deshaun Watson for what he posts on social media, particularly him with the yachts or with the cigars or with the cars and everything else? And that's
Mm,
cool and all, because after all, there is life. No matter, even if you're a professional athlete, even if you're an athlete, and shout out to the great Azzy Fudge. She won the 3-point shooting contest, first rookie in WNBA history to do so. Congratulations to Azzy Fudge. But to me, if you're Rex Ryan, there were other things you could have looked at and you could have criticized. And you choose that with Shador Sanders. And you, based on his history, based on what we detailed, the foot thing, or bringing in Tim Tebow to the team, knowing that it was a distraction, given the fact that it's New York, you bring in Tim Tebow, not to play quarterback, mind you. You remember, you used them as a gimmicky gadget. Let's not forget that. You sabotaged Tim Tebow. Fair or unfair, you sabotaged Tim Tebow, considering what he did in Denver. And the only reason why he left Denver, obviously, because there was no chance in hell he was going to win the job over Peyton Manning. That wasn't going to happen. My thing is, if you're Rex Ryan, why are you still picking on Shador Sanders? There are other things you could have said, you could have addressed, but instead you chose Shador Sanders. And it seems like to me, you're just basically doing it for clicks. And this is another example with ESPN. And why I said, it's interesting. They let go of Ryan Clark, they let go of Cam Newton for their bad takes. Meanwhile, Rex Ryan is still there. Meanwhile, Kendrick Perkins is still there. Dan Orlowski is still there. You let go of Ryan Clark and Cam Newton, fine, obviously because of layoffs, but hey, you still kept them people.
you kept Shaq as the fifth best center of all time. Chris Mad Dog Russo. I mean, like, come on, man.
That's the New York. That's the New York shit. That's just what I believe. Mad Dog Russo and the other, I forget the New York show, that big time radio show they had in New York.
I think
That's that New York
it was
shit.
what
And
Mike and the Mad Dog or something like that.
yeah, Mike and the
Yes.
Mad Dog. Yeah, that was just that. That's that New York connection. And if you ask me, that show was overrated. And I used to listen to it. I literally used to try. That show is very much overrated. I'm just a calm guy and a hothead talking, and who can't do that?
Exactly.
But all I'm saying is, look, Rex Ryan, there were other things he could have criticized. You chose Shador Sanders. You chose that. It's very obvious that you're obsessed with him. He's
Almost,
obsessed with him.
almost as much as he
It's
was
like Mariah.
obsessed
It's
with
like
them feet.
Mariah Carey, the song "Why You So Obsessed with Me."
Yeah, I mean, almost as much he obsessed with them feet. But no, yeah. I mean, hell, I didn't make it up. He did it.
I bet you were looking at them feet and you were kind of obsessed with it too. So,
No, I ain't looking at nobody's feet like that and taking pictures of him like a little, like a CLB, because that's exactly what he looked like when he was doing that, like a CLB. And if you watch wrestling, you know exactly what I'm
You know
talking about.
exactly what CLB stand for.
Yeah, for
all right, let's finish on with the NFL before we get into our entertainment. We gotta keep it real short and real quick. I want the big fella to go first on this one because unfortunately, due to last week's show and due to the technical difficulties, the big fella's back. Big fella for NFC South. I do recall you said you had Atlanta winning the division because of the roster that they have. Especially the fact that James Pierce Jr., despite what he dealt with in the offseason, which we ain't
I
got
ain't
to
touching on that.
regurgitate. But at the same time, it seems to me he ain't going to be suspended. The NFL probably ain't going to do anything. But the one main caveat, big fella, them quarterbacks of yours, they probably going to end up in the hospital.
Yeah,
Whatever hospital is in Atlanta.
Piedmont and Grady. You know, whichever one they don't end up in at this point. You know, whichever one they'll end up in Piedmont and Grady, that's who's gonna win. But look, we have the running backs, we have the receiver. Zachariah Branch he's going to be a hell of a addition to Drake London and Kyle Pitts. So you have Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and Zachariah Branch, who was solid at the University of Georgia. And if you don't believe in University of Georgia receivers, just look at George Pickens and look at out there in San Diego. Well, not San Diego. Look in Los Angeles. Lad McConkey.
Lad McConkey.
Lad McConkey. And he's very much undersized, and he's able to get the job done. So yeah, they're going to have a hell of a receiving core. They have a solid offensive line. They have two good. They have an MVP caliber running back and a good running back right behind him in the form of Brian Robinson. So it's a lot of physicality is going to come in. If I'm them, I'm running the ball at least 500 times this year. I'm taking the ball out of the quarterback's hand. I'm running the ball. Hey, be ready for your tongue to hang out your mouth, Bijan and BJ and BJ. So, hey, BR, excuse me, but BR to the second power. That don't even sound like they sound nerdy as hell. But um, just being real, this is gonna be good. I can't wait to see how this defense is going to. He makes a lot of good additions on defense in the draft. We made a James Pierce. Looks like he's not going to have to serve a suspension at this point in time. I don't know how the fan reaction is going to be to that at this point, but I digress. But
I think
on
the
the
woman
field,
reaction ain't gonna be pretty, especially the black woman. But go ahead.
yeah, but hey, I don't know. But like I said,
Well, you do know, especially in a city like Atlanta.
I know, but I'm not trying to get into that right about now. I'm trying to keep this on football. But
What in the words of the late great Jesse Jackson, keep hope alive.
yeah, you mean look, I don't know. Look, it doesn't look like he's gonna get suspended at this point, which on the field, good for us. PR, bad. So let's just be clear. On the field, good. PR, bad. So let's just get that out of the way. But on the field, we have Jeff Ulbrich back. We didn't get rid of him. It's gonna be interesting to see what Kevin Stefanski and Tommy Reese is going to end up doing with this offense and with this defense. If we could get some decent play from the quarterback, I'm not talking about 30 or 40 touchdowns. I'm talking about some decent play, and Bijan Robinson and Brian Robinson have some good, put up some comparable numbers. I really think that we can at least get to the second round of the playoffs and win the division. I don't know how. Look, I don't have too much faith in Bryce Young at this point. I know he had a good year last year, but you're not going to trick me with one good year. You're not going to trick me with one good year.
And they lost Nick Scorton today to a torn ACL.
Yeah, so
Sad.
you're not going to trick me with one good year. You had a good half of the season your sophomore year, and now you had a great season your third year. But you're not going to trick me with just 1.5 years plays. So Tyler Shue did good. Uh,
Yeah,
but
no, he actually did
Yeah, he
more
did had
than
a
good.
good year, but I don't know if this team, as far as the Saints, and I'm not just saying this because they're my rival. I don't know how ready this team is going to be with a lot of that veteran leadership kind of leaving the locker room. That they're ready. I don't know how ready they're going to be. And with Baker Mayfield's team down there in Tampa, although Baker is going to be good, you still lost a few weapons in the offseason. You lost old reliable, and it's going to depend on the health of this team. And let's see how you adapt with this still new offensive coordinator that you have. Because at the beginning of the season, you were the MVP, but as time went on, collapse. So I'll say, look, if we could get 25 touchdowns from the quarterback position, 25. I'm not even gonna. I'll say 26, maybe 27 at max. We could get we can get to at least the second round of the playoff. I'm not going to put no Super Bowl aspirations or anything like that on there. But the thing is, with this defense, if the quarterback can do decent, I'm not talking about spectacular. They don't have to be Dan Marino, Joe Montana. I'm talking about decent. If they could be what Trevor Lawrence was last year to the Jacksonville Jaguars, we'll get at least to the second round.
Big fella, I think you're kind of underestimating the NFC South, particularly the Saints and the Panthers, because the Saints have done their thing in the offseason, especially by bringing in Etienne. Because and not only that, they re-signed Kamara for a 1 year, I think $5 million contract. To BRF's point, Etienne, you can run the football. Kamara, he can also not only run it, but also can catch it still. And with Tyler Shue, we got to give credit to Tyler Shue. He completed 67% of his passes. And to his credit, he was really good on third down conversions. So, and he also is more mobile than given credit for. Bryce Young, I think you're also underestimating Bryce Young a little bit, big fella, because they finally figured it out with the head coach with Dave Canales. They got him a number one target in Tara McMillan, rightfully so, offensive rookie of the year. Jake Coker, and you talk about the importance of coaching. Have you not? You have talked about the importance of coaching. And it's gotten Bryce Young has looked so good to the point there's a debate. He may actually be better than CJ Stroud. Now, that's the story with CJ for another day. But Bryce Young, each and every year,
Vinny Testaverde Jr.
you see, I'm trying to be positive, and then you're just like the Grinch who stole Christmas. We're trying to give you credibility. I mean, just for a minute, you were gonna be chill. I mean, you're kind of like Cheyenne Bryant. One minute you said you weren't gonna talk about it anymore, and then you readdressed it, just like with Cheyenne Bryant. She said she wasn't gonna address the rumors about the doctorate degrees, and then she did the Netflix video and all that other stuff. I digress.
He could have said Neil O'Donnell against. He could have said Neil O'Donnell against Cowboys.
I mean, I think he should have a sit down on how he threw that game. I'm convinced that you cannot convince me that dude didn't get paid for that game.
But Bryce Young, each and every year, he has gotten better. And he is finally starting to figure out a little bit. So we got to give Bryce Young credit. Now, to BRF's point, losing Nick Scorton, that is a big blow for Carolina. But you still got that big defensive tackle on Derek Brown. You also they got the corner with J.C. Horn. I love what Carolina's done. And you also added Jalen Phillips in the offseason. So Carolina, New Orleans, to BRF's point, any team in that division can win. I think Tampa has the least odds to winning the division. Atlanta, based on paper and talent, they should win, champ. But you always tell me all the time of Atlanta, don't be surprised they're gonna let you down. It's kind of like your sneaky link.
Yeah, she
Because
gonna let you down.
because you had
she gonna
all
let you down.
because you had all that talent. You talk about all the talent that they have, but there's still what has been the common denominator with Atlanta so far? Since
Quarterback
the
and coaching.
quarterback and coaching. And look, you would know, hell, you had Desmond Ritter, who you've often said he couldn't even pass gas, even if you fed him refried beans.
He can. Look, I'm just like I said. This is the most talent. If you can't get to the playoffs with this talented team right about now, and before we go any further, Atlanta, go ahead and get Bijan that contract if you don't mind. You took care of everybody else. Let's take care of Bijan because he's probably up for MVP season this year. That is one of my prime picks for MVP. So let's just get that out the way. But take care of Bijan. And look, this is a very, very talented team. I know we took a big loss with Tyler Algier, but
You did get Brian Robinson Jr.,
we
so
did get
you
Brian
good.
Robinson, who's a bell cow himself. So and he's able to break a few more big runs himself. So hey, we should be able to do some things with this talent,
And not
especially
just
with
that, with you talk about the quarterback on the hot seat, Kevin Stefanski's ass on the hot seat because them
yeah.
excuses with Cleveland now, they're gone. You have the talent.
I'm not putting
You
him
have
on the
the
hot.
offensive.
I'm not putting him on the hot seat first year in Atlanta.
No, I think he got to get some pressure on him, BRF, because
No. I completely disagree with that, and this is why I completely disagree with that. Nobody's talking about them this year for once. Nobody's talking about Atlanta. Everybody's talking about Atlanta. They have the worst this. They have the worst this. They have the worst this. Some people are having them like bottom 4 in the league in terms of rosters. No.
wait,
This is
who said that?
I've seen a lot of people post, a lot of different pages post as far as like, let's see, like the front seven, like Atlanta's rated as having one of the worst front sevens, which is laughable. Like the only thing that what I'll give you is a quarterback room, but honestly, that's just off of health. Atlanta has one of the better offensive lines, which nobody is talking about. Everybody's focusing on Tua and Michael Penix getting hurt, but forgetting the fact Atlanta has one of the best better offensive lines in the league. When you talk about Lindstrom, when you talk about Matthew Bergeron, when you talk about Jake Matthews, who's still a good player even at his age, and Ryan Newsel, who basically came in after Drew Dalman went to Chicago and had a hell of a year. Um, that defensive line. You say Derek Brown. I'll give you Brandon Dorless, who I think might be the most underrated interior lineman in the league. He was leading the league. He was leading all the interior linemen in sacks when he got hurt. He already had 8.5 sacks when he got hurt. He was leading all interior linemen in sacks. Um, in my opinion, we have one of the top 2, 3 safeties in all of football in Jesse Bates. Um, Xavier Watts might already be a top 10 safety in football. AJ Terrell is a top 10 corner. Avion Terrell, second round pick, first round talent. And
Zachariah
nobody's
Branch.
yeah. I mean, well, you already talked about. I don't even need to bring up Zachariah Branch. You already talked about him. I mean, with Zachariah Branch, people are talking about is he gonna be a gadget guy? Is he well rounded enough as a receiver to actually play receiver, not just be a gadget guy? He's practically shown all off season training camp. He can run the entire route tree. He's been able to do everything. I think the biggest thing is nobody's really talking about Atlanta right now because of the last 2 years with the expectations coming up short. So nobody's talking about him. I'm not putting that type of. I don't think Kevin Stefanski should get that type of pressure at all, just from the standpoint that nobody's really talking about them.
I
I
think
don't.
he
I
does.
don't.
Here's why I disagree with you respectfully, BRF. Here's why. Because although a lot of people may not feel the way they feel about the talent in Atlanta, I do. All he has to do with this amount of talent, the embarrassment of riches, you could at least, the expectation is try to get to win the division. You also talked about with Tua Tagovailoa, why he went to Atlanta, style of fit of offense, because after all, he did work with Dylan Gabriel, which in a way he and Tua are pretty similar, besides the fact that they're both left-handed. They fit the style of offense with Kevin Stefanski. You've made the argument that it should be Michael Penix Jr., who should be the starter because of his tremendous upside. Here's why he's under the hot seat. Kevin Stefanski, and he brought this on himself, how the way he utilized Shador Sanders. If you fail to utilize one quarterback that fits your system in Tua, meanwhile, a guy in Michael Penix Jr. with this type of upside, with the talent, with the Zachariah Branch, with the Drake London, Kyle Pitts coming off an improvement year, you re-sign him. You have the running back duo in Bijan Robinson and in Brian Robinson Jr. With this defense. If you can't figure out a way to win with the guy who picked you in Matt Ryan. Shout out to Matt Ryan. He's done a damn good job. You also talked about how Matt Ryan has been overlooked and disrespected and underappreciated in the city of Atlanta. There's going to be some pressure on him. Now, you may not feel like he should be on the hot seat, but again, if you can't win with this type of talent, then what are we saying, Kevin Stefanski? Because the last couple of years we gave you a pass, rightfully so, in Cleveland, because look at the team. And if you keep having this reputation of not utilizing QBs, because you brought that on yourself with Shador Sanders, imagine what you're going to be with Tua and Michael Penix Jr.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. But then again, it comes back to we might be talking about it, but not a lot of other people are talking about the Falcons right now. They're not. I
Man,
mean,
please, do you really think I really care what a lot of other people
I
think?
mean, I don't either. But as sports debaters and sports talkers, we have to focus on that. Whether
Fair
we want
enough.
we whether
Fair
we want
enough.
to or not, we have to focus on that. And a lot of the news media outlets, a lot of sports media outlets, they're not talking about the Falcons at all. So I get what you're saying. With a team that's talented, Kevin Stefanski probably should feel a little pressure, but I'm not. You're not going to fire him if they don't make the playoffs this year. His first year as a coach, you're not. You're not. So it's one of those things where it's just like people have seen this team,
Do you have them
and
winning the division?
mm, I want to say yes, but at the same time, I feel like in terms of hype, Carolina's probably the favorite to win this division. But when I look at talent, when you look at talent, when you look at how they should play, Atlanta should win this division. I think Carolina's probably going to be the favorite based off of hype, what they did the second half of last season, what they did in the playoffs, almost beating the LA Rams in the playoffs, like this close. They almost took the LA Rams out the playoffs. I mean, and shout out to Bryce Young, shout out to Ted McMillan. I like what they're doing. I honestly feel like this division should be Atlanta, Carolina. I think they are the two best teams in this division currently. I really do. The Saints are on the come up. But I personally think there's still a few offensive line questions with the Saints. Um, I like the offensive skill players they have now. I think there's still some
They also
defensive
got to get a
questions.
wide. They got to get a wide receiver
They,
because I
they
like Olave
yeah
a lot, but his durability history.
yeah, and I think they did draft one. They drafted one of the names too, if I can recall. I have to look it up. They drafted one of the solid wide receivers. So they did get you know what? Let me look that up while we're talking about it. I think the Saints did get one of those big names at wideout. Hold on, let me look them up.
Right. But to your
Mm,
point, Atlanta or Carolina, because Atlanta, you can't disregard the type of talent that they have with the coach who can hopefully know how to utilize the talent. But with Carolina and David Tepper, whether we want to give credit or not, has looked pretty good because in the aftermath, right after the former disgraced owner Jerry Richardson, how would David Tepper be as an owner? And last time we only knew about David Tepper was him throwing drinks at Jacksonville Jaguars fans.
yeah,
And this was at the time when the Panthers
mhm.
were bad.
Bad.
But
And to going back to what I was talking about, they they drafted Jordan Tyson with the eighth
yes,
overall. They drafted Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State with the eighth overall pick. They drafted Oscar Delp, tight end out of Georgia, and then they
yes,
also drafted Bryce Moore out of out of South Dakota State. So they got like two really good wide receivers who could stretch the field and a very athletic tight end. If you've seen Georgia the past few years, you've seen the tight ends. In particular, one Brock Bowers with the Vegas Raiders, who might already be the best tight end in football, which is crazy to think about.
and an
So,
underrated one when he gets his conditioning together. And now he's back in good condition. Darnell Washington.
Darnell Washington with the Pittsburgh Steelers. That if he gets into just considerably respectable playing shape, the Pittsburgh Steelers just don't realize how much of a talent they have in Darnell Washington if he gets his size down. If he can get down to like 280, 275, close to what he was in college playing at like 265, they just don't know what they have in him. But I'm going not just like a homer pick, but I'm just looking at how these teams are constructed and I'm looking at the coaching. I'm going to go with Atlanta to win this division because I feel like the lessons that Kevin Stefanski learned in Cleveland through the bad times, but also the good times, and understanding how to win in clutch situations and stuff, and things of that nature. And when he had Baker Mayfield as a starting quarterback, ironic nonetheless. I'm going to pick the Atlanta. I'm going to roll with the Atlanta Falcons to win this division from a narrative standpoint because I feel like nobody's talking about them. And if they're ever going to actually just sneak up and absolutely just snatch the division away from the other three teams, this could be the year to do it because nobody's really talking about Atlanta from a standpoint of just winning the division. It's Carolina, and to a lesser extent, is actually the New Orleans Saints. And nobody's really talking about Atlanta like that because they're focusing on the quarterback room. But I do think one of those quarterbacks are ultimately going to step in, and they're actually going to step up, and they're going to have a decent year. And I'm going to pick Atlanta to win this division. I'll actually give them 10-7. I'll give them 10-7 to win the division this year. I'll give them 10-7 to win the division.
I got Carolina winning this division, but with Atlanta, but I'm concerned with the big fella because again, if he can't figure out a way to man, I don't see him wearing Saints gear, but although if
That
the
ain't
Saints
happening.
win, if the Saints win
That
the
ain't happening.
division,
That ain't happening. It ain't happening. The Saints can win the division 3 years in a row. It ain't happening.
imagine if they win a Super Bowl, how he feel.
Well,
But
hey, I'll say this though. Atlanta has Super Bowl after the 2027 season. They've already announced it. February 13th is going to be the date of that Super Bowl in Atlanta. So we'll see.
in 2028,
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
right?
Atlanta.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna be exciting to see.
Very
Uh,
exciting. I probably would never save the money up to go to a game like that, but that's like bucket list is to attend the Super Bowl, especially if it's in Atlanta. Oh Lord, that would be like I'd lose my mind if I was to just be able to attend the Super Bowl. I would lose my ever loving mind.
Speaking of a team that actually has speaking of teams that has chances for a Super Bowl, one of them is in the Chicago Bears. BRF, the NFC North. Um, I have
Ooh.
Chicago winning the division again because Green Bay, to the big fella's point, Micah Parsons. We don't know if he's going to come back probably until what midway of the season, probably like late October or around November, like week
Yeah.
8-ish or week 9, middle of the season. That's what his brother confirmed. And again, if it's coming from his brother, then it's probably coming from Micah himself because that's within Micah's inner circle. Detroit, how are they going to be? Again, the first year without Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. I mean, they had some struggles. It's going to be. I mean, I still expect Jared Goff to put up some numbers with Jameer Gibbs and Amon St. Brown, but it's still not going to be enough for Detroit. I think
Y'all keep
with
talking. I'll be right back.
no, it's all good. But champ, I have Chicago winning this division, even though they moved on with some pieces, particularly with DJ Moore, Luther Burton, who they believe is the guy for them for the future. And I do think Caleb Williams will definitely be in the discussions this year for the MVP. I think considering what Chicago was able to do and something that they have to look forward to. I agree with the JV show. JV, go check him out. The football dude. The Green Bay Packers are pretty much pretty similar with the Pittsburgh Steelers. A cornerstone franchise, consistent team. They'll get you to the playoffs every single year, but that's really about it. I mean, not only with Michael Parsons, you got to worry about. Remember, they traded Rashawn Gary to the Dallas Cowboys. So remember, Romeo Dobbs is gone. You got to wonder with Christian Watson with his durability issues. And champ, we talk about players with controversial issues. Let's not forget Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
So,
I forgot all about that until you brought it up.
great minds always think alike. And Jordan Love, we got to see. I mean, as talented as he is,
Still got a
and
lot to
then with
prove.
and then with Minnesota, it should be Kyler for the starting job over JJ. And you talk about how this offense on paper could be reminiscent of the 98 Vikings.
Yep.
I have Chicago to win the division again. I think Caleb Williams could make a case for the MVP if he can improve more consistently as a passer in terms of his footwork, champ. If Caleb Williams can improve his footwork and his accuracy, and if he can get around 65, 66%, he can have a really strong case to win the MVP. And when I look at Chicago, when I look at their schedule, I'm gonna go pull out their schedule right now. The Chicago Bears schedule. When I look at the Bears schedule, okay, here is how they started off the season. September 13th, they go on the road to Carolina. They should win against Carolina. September 20th, against the Vikings. It's at Chicago. Even though Brian Flores is still there, I'm going to lean towards the Bears to win that one. Then the Eagles at the Bears. Eagles, I believe the Eagles should win that one because they're looking to make amends after the Black Friday game. Jets at Bears, Bears going to win that one. Bears at Packers. Packers could win that one. Then October the 18th, I'm pretty sure, I hope you're going to be at that game. Bears at ATL. That's a very interesting game. Atlanta could win that one because of their defense going up against Chicago's offense. So that's going to be interesting to see in that one, particularly how the safeties are going to handle Luffy Burton, how they're going to handle the tight ends and Cole Kmet and Loveland. Then the following week, they got a home game against the Bears. They could lose that one. Then they got to go against the Seahawks November 2nd. Chances are they probably going to lose that one. Then after that, they got the Buccaneers at home. They should beat the Buccaneers. Then they got the Saints. That's not easy because the Saints have been improving, but I still have the Bears winning that one. Then on the road against the Lions. I do see them winning that one. The Jaguars. I'm kind of concerned about the Jaguars because of the offseason, some of the moves that they've made, the losses that they have. I got the Bears. Bears at Dolphins. Bears should win that one. Then the Bears at the Bills. That's going to be a tough one. I got the Bills winning that one. Packers at Bears. I got the Bears winning that one. Lions at Bears. Bears got that one. And Bears at Vikings. I got the Bears winning that one. To me, I'm going to still go with Chicago because I don't know if Minnesota with Kyler or JJ. It should be Kyler because talent and upside, and with JJ McCarthy, I'm not so sure. To me, looking back with that trade, you gave up too much in order to take a guy like JJ, and then with Green Bay, you got to wait and see how Micah's going to come back with the injury. And with a lot of other players with the injury, Tucker Kraft can come back and also produce as well. And then also the X factor with Green Bay's offense is Christian Watson. His problem is he can't stay healthy because he's got size. He can take the top off the defense. He's got speed. He could affect as far as with Yak, but his health has been a question mark. Yeah. So I do expect Matthew Golden to take a step up. I got Chicago winning this one, but whoever wants to go.
I'll go first. What?
Minnesota.
What?
Minnesota. This is
That's
probably
a
the
hot take.
This is probably the hottest take and probably the only hot take I'm probably ever gonna have. I done made damn BRF drink his Sprite. What the hell going on? But look, here's why I feel that way. You have a great team. The only thing that they are missing right now is that common denominator. And the biggest mistake that they made in recent memory was letting Sam Darnold walk. Okay. Now you bring in a quarterback with something to prove, and he's in a contract year, trying to get another big, huge contract. And we all know how people want to play when they're trying to get that next big, fat-ass contract. That's Kyler Murray. As much of his antics that we talk about him, maybe not studying film as much, guess what? He seems like he's hungry at this point. And a hungry Kyler Murray is a dangerous Kyler Murray. You have the receivers, you have the defense, you have the running backs, you have the capability, you have the talent on this team in order to win the division. I don't think Detroit is going to do as well because, like I stated, the offense did not look the same last year. It wasn't as high-powered as it was, and that defense, good, but not as good as it was when it was up under the tutelage of Aaron Glenn. That's a whole nother thing. When I think about Chicago, yeah, but at the same time, I want to see what they do in this offense year 2. I want to see what they do. Is he going to keep? Caleb Williams going to keep playing hero ball? Is he going to finally start releasing the ball when he needs to? Although he started making that improvement, is those improvements going to continue at this point? Green Bay, I have very, very little faith in them at this point because Jordan Love, he keeps coming in with these, big time expectations, but it's kind of like a popcorn fart in church when you think about it. Let's just be real.
No, I no,
He was
no,
supposed
I like the analogy, champ.
he was supposed to be the next Brett Favre. This was supposed this year 3, as it was for Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers and Don Mikowski, just to name a few, supposed to be your breakout season when you're in Green Bay. There's still a lot of question marks around him. He's a solid quarterback, but when you're an heir apparent and you have a quarterback-rich franchise like Green Bay, you have to win MVP and a Super Bowl at minimum. So there's still a lot of question marks around him. And can he be that next generational quarterback like his predecessors were? And like I stated, a hungry Kyler Murray is a dangerous Kyler Murray. I believe he's going to come out here this year and air that some gun out like a ceiling fan. He's going to get it out to his receiver. He's going to be able to have more. He's going to have more protection this year because the Vikings do have a good offensive line. He's going to have more protection this year. And he has an offensive-minded coach willing to work with him. He was able to turn Sam Darnold's career around. And look, the only thing that Kyler has to do this year is one thing. Be cooperative. That's all you got to do. Be cooperative. If he's able to do that, which I think he will, at least for 1 year, in order to get that big fat contract. Because if he has a good year this year, they are going to re-sign him. They're not going to let another quarterback get away from him. Best believe. They're not going to let another quarterback get away from him. Best believe. So if he has another good year this year, and he's able to get them to the playoffs and put up some magnificent numbers, guess what? They can go far. Like I stated, this team has 98 Vikings on paper written all over. Let's just hope they can make it past the NFC Championship. And wouldn't it just be poetic justice that they go out there and put up all that firepower with Kyler Murray resurrecting his career, and let's say Bijan wins the MVP and he runs us right past him?
They probably not gonna give it to a running back. You know that.
I don't understand why they won't give it to a running back. I think that's weird. But I mean, that is the NFL. Like I stated, everybody want to know. Everybody want to know the quarterback. Don't nobody give a damn about the lineman or nobody else. Yeah, everybody want to know the quarterback when he get off.
Well, actually, they're not paying attention to the lineman because now there's a lineman award and offensive lineman award, and finally,
yeah,
but
finally
Chip,
a lineman award.
But Chip, here's my thing. You mentioned all those things with Kyler Murray. At the end of the day, with Kyler Murray, no one has ever questioned or doubted his talent. The knock on Kyler Murray has been two things: his focus and his concentration. If Kyler Murray, if he would stop focusing on COD or video games, this wouldn't have been an issue. The reason why they put that homework clause in his contract because he wasn't studying. Even Kyler admitted that he doesn't spend a lot of time watching film. Hopefully with Kyler, this has to be it, Kyler, because if it can't work out for you in Minnesota, not just with the head coach, but with the weapons that they have in Jefferson and Addison and Hawkinson, I don't know what to tell you if you're Kyler Murray. I hope you're right, champ, because despite Kyler Murray, despite what he responded to me, still in all, I'm gonna be representing my OU. Don't lose sight of that. But I do think, though, that is a hot take of yours for the Minnesota Vikings. But I can understand where you're coming from. BRF.
Very hot take.
I guess we're just gonna have 3 different teams winning this division because I got the Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
I got the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love is a better quarterback than Caleb Williams, at least in structure. Anyway, I think Jordan Love's a better quarterback than Caleb Williams, at least in structure from the pocket.
But Caleb outside the pocket.
I mean, Caleb Williams is one of the greatest. Has already showed himself to be one of the better out of structure passes we've seen in a long, long time. And comparing him to Patrick Mahomes with the arm talent and all of that. I mean, we've already seen what he can do out of structure. But Jordan Love, we've seen like a lot of the throws that he's made. You can see the Aaron Rodgers influence in him with a lot of the throws he makes, like in like his stance, his arm angles, like the way he throws the ball. Like I mean Jordan Love to me is a top 10 quarterback in the league. I think he is. I think he's a top 10 quarterback in the league. I think he's in that 8 to 10 range. I feel like it's hard to take him out. I'm big. I see the like the 2 years ago where he threw for like almost 4,200 yards and 32 touchdowns. I see another year like that coming. I see another year like that coming with Jordan Love. And I know and then people talk about a lot of the questions and all of that stuff. I think I really feel like this is a year where his wide receiver room is going to be healthy. I really do. Like quick, like and I'm not gonna lie, Christian Watson, Matthew Golden, Jaden Reed, that's a hell of a run. That's a hell of a wide receiver room.
It is.
That's a hell of a wide receiver room. And they get Tucker Craft back. Let me tell you something. The ACL is definitely not one to play with when it comes to coming back from injury. But let's be real. Before Tucker Craft tore that ACL, he was playing the best ball at tight end in all of football. Before he tore that ACL, there was no tight
Yes.
end playing as good a ball.
How tall
There
is
was
that
no
guy
tight.
again?
Hmm?
Probably was
He about
6'5", 6'6".
I
good
think Tucker
God,
Craft's
that's
like
a
six.
monster.
Tucker Craft's like 6'6". He's like I want to say he's like 6'6", 245, 250. He's a big boy, and just his and he can run. He can run. Like he's like one of the. He's like one
That
of
get
the.
away from the cop speed.
He. I mean, a guy his size shouldn't have it, but Tucker Craft has it, and they get him back this year. And Josh Jacobs. I mean, he's in that. He's in that top
He's
five
six
running
five.
back in the league.
He's 6'5", 259. That's what they look at.
Exactly. See,
Damn.
I thought he was about 260. I thought Tucker Craft was about 260. That's a big boy, and that's a big boy that can run. So and like I said, Josh Jacobs, he's in top five running back conversations currently in the league. He's one of the best running backs in the league. And the defense, I feel like the defense is. I understand how good Michael Parsons is when he's healthy and he's on his game, but that defense I think can be more than Michael Parsons. I mean, you still have Xavier McKinney, you have Javon Bullard now. You re-signed Devontae Wyatt, you re-sign Edgerrin Cooper, and you're bringing Zaire Franklin along. I think the guy that needs to break out for them this year on the defensive side of the ball is Lucas Van Ness. But I really think he's going to be finally going to be their breakout defensive player this year because they're going to need a guy to step up while Michael Parsons is coming back from his injury. But I definitely think Lucas Van Ness he's going to have that year to really like kind of really show himself and really just like display the talents, which is why they drafted him so high in the first place. I think Lucas Van Ness can be that guy for them. I feel like I feel like the team ceiling is highest when it comes to the Green Bay Packers, and I I am trusting Jordan Love a little bit more, even though I think Caleb Williams is going to have a good year himself. I think this could be 2020. I think this could be 2023. I think we're going to get 2023 Love again in terms of like the 4,300 yards, the 30 plus touchdown. I think we're going to get 2023 Love again this year. And I'm picking the Green Bay Packers to win the NFC North.
Interesting. Although BRF, hey, you don't believe Jared Goff is a top 10 quarterback, I do. If there's one thing Jared Goff has proven, he is consistent. And it's amazing with Jared Goff. Boy, at one point he was a bust after his rookie year,
I
but
mean,
no, no, no,
he's in the conversation.
no,
He's
no,
in the
no, no.
conversation is what I'm
He's
getting.
in the conversation, but you
He's
know
in the
why
conversation.
the reason why he's elevating that conversation, boy, Jeff Fisher. You know one thing about you, when it comes to QBs, because you mentioned the champ with Vince Young during his time in Tennessee. Remember what happened with what he did to Jared Goff at Los Angeles the first year?
Boy,
Lord.
Yeah.
the game when Jared Goff was a quarterback in LA, the game I point to where it was like rock bottom for him was when Atlanta was going on that run to the Super Bowl. That game, it was like I can't remember what the score was, but Vic Beasley just had like oh my gosh. I've never like they beat him down. And that was like rock bottom. I thought Jared Goff was like done. and then and then Sean McVay comes in, transforms him into this really good quarterback. Gets traded. I mean, gets traded to Detroit because LA felt like they hit their ceiling with him. And granted, yes, they go win a Super Bowl, but Jared Goff damn near gets the Detroit Lions to the Super Bowl. I mean,
Not his fault they lost in
I
that Super
didn't,
Bowl. It was
yeah.
really more Dan Campbell with the questionable calls that he had.
Exactly. And my I guess my reasoning with golf, like I felt like he shouldn't have been in top 10 rankings, was just how he played down the stretch last year. And then I look at like a Trevor Lawrence and how he played last year down the stretch. I felt like Trevor Lawrence should have been in it over him when I look at how Trevor Lawrence played. Trevor Lawrence from week 13 to week 16 last year had a stretch of 13 touchdowns and no interceptions. Trevor Lawrence from like week 10 to 17 accounted for 23 total touchdowns, which was like 7 more than Goff. So Trevor Lawrence was just like the engine for the Jacksonville Jaguars going into the playoffs. So that's my reasoning. But
That being said, you would still take Golf because even though Golf doesn't have that much to brag about in the playoffs,
he's
he's
been
had more
there.
success.
He's
And
been
but
there.
and
And he's
after
had
all,
success.
but more importantly, the reason why I take him over Lawrence, he's more consistent in the regular season. Jared Goff, despite 34 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions, you were second in the NFL in passing yards and passing TDs.
Yeah.
Mind you, this was the first year without Ben Johnson.
Exactly.
So at
Yep.
some
Exactly.
point, we got to stop calling him a system quarterback. I'm not saying he's a franchise quarterback like Patrick
No,
Mahomes, Josh
he
Allen,
proved last year
but
he's
he
not a
is a
system
competent
quarterback.
quarterback.
Hmm.
I said, and I don't know if Champ heard it. He reminds me in a lot of ways of Matt Ryan, a respectable quarterback, top 10 quarterback, consistent, puts up numbers, has great talent around him. That's who Jared Goff is. That's the ceiling with Jared Goff. I mean, and
I,
plus Jared
I like the
Goff,
Matt Ryan comparison.
yes, and plus Jared Goff, even though Matt Ryan is not known for mobility as well, Jared Goff can move around a little bit. He can move around a little bit. He has like a little bit of 4.8, has a 4.8ish. But I think
He
Jared
yeah.
Goff, yeah. But fellas, babyface or heel. Now, for those who may not know what babyface heel means in wrestling language, babyface a good guy, heel a bad guy, tweener in between, babyface and heel. First one, a woman, very obvious is a babyface, the wonderful Asia Wilson.
Absolutely babyface.
Babyface. She's the
Absolute
absolute babyface.
Without
absolute best.
arguably the GOAT of the WNBA. Given the amount of MVPs, the championships, you can argue Maya Moore, you can argue Sue Bird, Cheryl Swoops. But if you want to say Asia Wilson is the GOAT of the WNBA, I ain't wrong. I ain't mad at that. And she's on
I'm
pace to win another MVP. And
I'm gonna keep
if
it.
it's
I'm gonna
not
keep it
voter
100.
fatigue,
Yeah,
she
I'm gonna
could
keep it
win
100 with
MVP
you.
and DPOY again.
I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. I don't think it's arguably. I
No,
think
it's
she
not.
already is.
She's gonna win the.
No, I'm
And,
talking about
and,
like
and
I'm talking about for being the go to the league. I don't think it's
oh, I
arguably.
thought
I
you were
think she
talking about
already is.
MVP. I'm
No,
sorry.
I'm talking about the go to the league. I don't think it's arguably. I think she already is. I
Not to
think she
mention
already
you keep.
is.
Not to mention you do your part to keep Bam happy.
Hey,
Well, not only that, and also, man, she has charisma. She has that aura
That
about
girl.
herself. She is that girl. And
yes,
so,
exactly.
Asia Wilson, and man,
Shout out
Will
DeAndre.
West, we, hey, my guy, that's my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
This is my guy from shout out to my boy Josh, man, one of the up and coming comedian as well, man, and a content creator, man. Make sure y'all give him a follow on Instagram and TikTok as well, man. He know basketball too, so shout out to my
That's what's
main
up.
man Josh. Yeah, man, that dude's smart as hell. Known him for years, known him since I was in high school. So he was my point guard, by the way. So
Nice.
as y'all know, I couldn't shoot, so my job was to set picks for him. But I'm just being real. But but like like my main man Josh just said, league of her own, man. She, in the great words of good old JR, she may not be in a class all by herself, but it doesn't take damn long to call roll. She is the greatest of all time right about now. and she is a force on the offense and the defensive side of the ball. I believe that the Aces are becoming a little bit too heavily reliant on her because it shouldn't take her scoring 30 and 40 damn points a night, kind of like how BRF said, in order for you to win a damn game. Remember, she scored 38 last night, they still damn
They
lost.
lost
I said, how the hell do you score 38 points? Your franchise, the greatest player of all, scored 38 damn points, you still lose. So
on a very efficient stat line
doesn't
too.
that tell you how much Kennedy Carter's contributions do mean something? Even though Kennedy Carter can be a hothead from time to time, but hey, how
yeah, but
productive.
like I said, they're too heavily reliant on her at a certain point, and
Mhm.
eventually, I don't know, in the next couple of years, it may not be in the next couple of years, maybe after year 4, on down the line, after I say 4 years, it's going to eventually catch up with the Aces at a certain point because you can't be too heavily reliant on Asia. But guess what? She is your most reliable piece on the chessboard right about now. She is the most dominant and the best player in the league right about now, and nobody could say anything otherwise. It's one thing to be dominant when there is no close second in an MVP race. That is amazing. There's not even anyone close at this moment. She could very well win the Defensive Player of the Year and the MVP again this year for the second year in a row. She's on track to score over 1,000 points again this year.
And leads the WNBA in blocks with I think 2 a game.
Yes. Is top 5 in rebounds and top in scoring again. She is so dominant that it's not even funny. She is the most dominant player in the league right about now. And look, man, them A1s, they ain't bad. They've been selling out like hotcakes. Remember, her first pair of shoes, signature shoes, sold out in less than 5 minutes. So I don't think age is going to be a factor right about now. I just think they just rely on her a little bit too much. It's just like she's 29 years old right about now.
She'll
So
be
it's not
30
going to,
in August.
yeah, yeah, she'll be 30 in August, but I believe like after like the year after next, you're gonna have to bring in because Chelsea Gray, she's aged. She's 31 years old. I don't know if they're gonna bring Jackie Young back because she only signed a 1 year deal. You got to rebuild this team around her if you want her to be upright. I don't want her to have a career on down her a down stretch career like let's say Diana Taurasi did. You remember that last year in Phoenix? That shit was ugly. So no, I'm serious. That shit was ugly.
No, I'm not.
So,
I'm not saying you're lying, champ.
but yeah, I don't want her to close out her career like that because that was just a terrible way for an all time great player to end their career. You want them to end it on a high note. But I really believe Asia Wilson, number one. And look, I think the funniest thing is I think one of the funniest things that I've ever seen. I remember when they were at the Olympics and the kids were holding up the sign, y'all can't beat us without Caitlin Clark. And you had her and Brittany Griner pointing at the sign. They say we can't beat y'all without Caitlin Clark. And they went out there and whooped their ass. I'm serious. They went out there and whooped their ass. You see what we can do without Caitlin Clark. Mind you, it was Asia Wilson, Brittany Griner, and Diana Taurasi on their team. So that just tells you how dominant that team was. So, hey, she is an AKA, and she's gonna represent her sorority. And look, man, I love the fact that they retire her jersey and how all the poses that she do, she'll break out in a dance at a minute. Although she's the most dominant player in the league, she doesn't take herself too serious. You see her climbing around on the on the bench with her and Chelsea Gray. Y'all remember that footage where she said, "Oh, wait a minute, Becky coming," and everybody got quiet real fast. You know, you saw her doing the commercial great. She was doing her little dance. Man, it's great, man. Asia Wilson, most dominant player we've ever seen in the W, and it's still not over. She still has the Olympics are coming up in 2 years. We're gonna see her again as an Olympian. We're gonna see her win at least 2 more MVPs. And quite frankly, I'm glad that the world started paying attention to the league when they did because we're able to see one of the greatest players of all time in real time. I hate that a lot of the other players who were considered goats didn't get the recognition that they deserve because people outside of the savants wasn't watching. You know, the savants, we know what's going on. Guys like myself, BRF, UPSP, among others, we knew. Myra, we knew off the rip. But they caught this wave at a perfect time because when you're able to catch the greatest of any league
Shout
in
out to
real
Coach
time,
China as well from IG2.
yes, shout out to Coach China as well. Shout out to the coach. And you're able to see these players in real time and witness their greatness. So they caught it at a perfect way, man, because we're able to see the GOAT in real time. And I'm glad everybody's able to see it, not just a handful of diehard fans. It's one thing when you're diehard fans of the WC. It's a whole nother thing when mainstream and the casuals can even acknowledge, hey, that's the GOAT. And there's nobody close at this point. So babyface.
Not just with let me just read you the accomplishments. 3-time WNBA champion, 2-time WNBA Finals MVP, 4-time League MVP, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 8-time WNBA All-Star, 5-time All WNBA First Team, All WNBA Second Team, 4-time WNBA All Defensive First Team, All Defensive Second Team, 2-time WNBA Peak Performer, WNBA Scoring Champion, 5-time WNBA Block Leader, Commissioner's Cup Champion, All Rookie Team, Rookie of the Year, AP Female Athlete of the Year, 3-time Best WNBA Player for the ESPYs, 2-time Best Female Athlete ESPY Award, NCAA Champion, NCAA Tournament MOP, Most Outstanding Player, AP Player of the Year, Honda Sports Award, Naismith College Player of the Year, John R. Wooden Award 2018, Wade Trophy, USBWA National Player of the Year, the Lisa Leslie Award, 3-time All American, 3-time First Team All American, third team All American, SEC Female Athlete of the Year, 3-time SEC Player of the Year, 2-time SEC Defensive Player of the Year, 2-time SEC Tournament MVP, 4-time First Team All SEC, 3-time SEC All Defensive Team, SEC All Freshman Team, SEC Freshman of the Year, number 22 retired by South Carolina Gamecocks, Naismith Prep Player of the Year, Max Prep National Player of the Year, McDonald's All American, South Carolina Miss Basketball, 3-time USA Basketball Female Athlete of the Year, FIBA Women's Olympic MVP, FIBA
Good
Women's World
God.
Cup MVP, FIBA Under 19 World Cup MVP, FIBA Under 18 America's Championship MVP. She's
Good
got
God.
2 gold medals, World Cup gold medals. That's enough. And there's still more and counting. So you can make an argument not only to go for WNBA, but perhaps college basketball. Because
Women's basketball period just about. She got a damn career. She just 29, bro.
Hell, he read off a whole damn CVS receipt.
That's right.
He read
That
off.
was that was CVS, Walgreens, and Rite Aid all rolled up into one.
I mean, hey man, that's a lot.
My
Next
God.
person on the list. Mama Champ sometimes gets on my nerves, but only because of her son. I'll give her love because of the Dallas Cowboys.
Oh God.
Dak Prescott.
Babyface.
That's pretty obvious.
Babyface.
Yeah.
But yeah, babyface. I can't you just because you lose football games doesn't mean that you are he's never done anything that just was perceived to be just malicious. It's just like and if he wasn't playing for the Cowboys, would he really have all of that criticism? Probably not. If he was putting up comparable numbers for any other team and coming up short in the playoffs, he probably wouldn't be as criticized as he was before. The reason why he's that way right now is because he plays for the Cowboys and the standard is high. When you think about Mr. Cowboy himself, Meredith, when you think about Roger Staubach, when you think about Troy Aikman, the standard, if you're a Cowboys quarterback, is to win championships. And you have to win one in Dallas. You must win one. And it's kind of like, and following up behind guys like Roger Staubach, Tony Romo, and even Troy Aikman, the standard is very, very high to win. You're trying to succeed where many have failed at this point. Nobody has really sniffed anything, and it's your job in order to get it back to where it is. And once, I believe if he's able to win one, I believe that weight will be completely off his back. But I think Dak Prescott, he's never done anything just malicious, or he says all the right thing, he does all the right things. He's essentially he's essentially just another Russell Wilson. You really don't hear about him off the field. You really don't hear about him off the field. He's just essentially another Russell Wilson, another stand-up guy, says all the right things, does all the right things. You never hear a peep out of it. He performs, he gets the hell off the field, and you never hear from him again. You don't really hear about him in his off-season effort. You don't hear about him in DUIs. You don't hear about him in everything. And Jerry Jones, he's very, very fond of him. So yeah, babyface.
He's a babyface, in my opinion. I think Dak Prescott's rookie year, Jerry Jones, I didn't think he'd give Dak enough credit or respect at that time. But when Tony Romo gave the speech in which he admitted that Dak Prescott should be the quarterback, not only for the season for the Dallas Cowboys, but for the future, I think that means something to hear it from your predecessor and to hear the respect that Dak has from guys like Tony Romo, Jason Witten, and so many others. So I think that does mean something. I think with Dak Prescott, and everything that he's been through, considering how he lost his mom, to I think cancer, considering how the way he lost his brother, the way that he did, and I mean that's a tragic situation. And of course, and sorry, I know I'm throwing him under the bus, but what Skip Bayless said and on Undisputed, and to hear Michael Strahan respond and criticize Skip Bayless and applaud Dak Prescott, like I always say, in the words of Robin Williams, everyone you know in life is fighting a battle you know nothing about. Be kind always. And the thing is, regardless, yeah, he is the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, he makes a ton of money. Yes, he has a certain life that not a that very few people would love to that a lot of people would love to have, especially black people. But at the end of the day, he's human like everybody else. And he's been open about his mental health. Um, and I do think if he could win a Super Bowl, I think this could add elevation for, as far as him winning the Hall of Fame champ, getting to the Hall of Fame. Mind you, every team, to BRF's point, because he brought up the stat, every team in that NFC has been to a conference championship game more recently than the Dallas Cowboys. And I think Dak Prescott is the least of their problems in Dallas. There are other players. And also, too, even though Jerry Jones has done his job, champ, as far as the GM, but what is the problem I have with Jerry Jones continuously? His mouth. Sometimes with his mouth, sometimes with the things that he says and the coaches that he hires. Now, Brian Schottenheimer did a very good job with this offense. And I think if Dallas, they can actually compete in this NFC East. Because if they can improve defensively, and meanwhile, you look at their offense, they re-signed Javonte Williams, I think, to a 3-year deal. George Pickens is in that franchise tag. CeeDee Lamb is also there. And I think CD, if you ask me, he's a baby face as well. Because CD doesn't get into a lot of trouble off the field. He doesn't. And he was willing to take a pay cut for George Pickens, which he admitted. And he also spends a lot of time in the offseason making sure he's taking care of himself. And remember, before Dak Prescott got that 4-year type of contract, champ, back in 2021, remember, and I hate to bring this up, remember that devastating injury that he had against the Giants?
Yeah, he
And
did.
then that just sucked the soul out of all the players and the fans.
Yeah.
That was devastating. And it and when Dak went out that season, and when the team went with Andy Dalton, how were the Dallas Cowboys offensively? It explained to you that Dak Prescott not only outperformed the contract, but was worthy of every bit of the penny he was given. Because if you lose a guy like Dak Prescott, who else are you going to find in return? Not just based on production, but based on leadership, based on presence. I mean, Dak Prescott has a great story. I mean, he was drafted in the 4th round out of Mississippi State. You know, his first preseason game with the Dallas Cowboys against the Los Angeles Rams, and it was on ESPN at the Coliseum. Played very well. And then Tony Romo got hurt in that preseason game against the Seahawks. Dak Prescott, for the remainder of that season, Dallas Cowboys, their first year, they went 13-3. It was Dak and Zeke that year. Dak won Offensive Rookie of the Year through 23 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And mind you, in his first playoff game, he played very exceptionally well. It took every bit of Aaron Rodgers in order for Green Bay to pull off that win. I think if he could win a Super Bowl, if he could just win a Super Bowl, this could elevate his chances as far as getting to the Hall of Fame. And believe it or not, champ, I actually do think he could have a case for the MVP. If they keep this offense intact, which they did, and if they improve their defense. But when you look at Dak Prescott, high character kid, I'm sorry, not kid, young man. I apologize, young man. Great leader on and off the football field. And hell, champ, I can't believe you of all people didn't even mention this. I'm shocked. If you of all people, you're the one who, remember you mentioned about Dak Prescott with that prenup?
Yeah. I mean, shit. What? I mean, I ain't gonna lie to you, shit. You in this for? Hey, I'ma just be real. In the great words of Rick Ross, you wasn't with me shooting in the gym. What the fuck gives you the right to come into my life and decide what you want? Either sign this prenup or get the hell on. And I signed it, and I find it quite ironic whenever somebody have to sign a prenup and they don't sign it, and then all of a
You
sudden the
learn.
relationship is, and then
You learn who. You
oh
learn
yeah,
who.
he was cheating. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah,
You learn
look,
who.
I'm gonna just be real. I'm in Dallas.
Mhm.
I'm in Dallas. If I was walking around, if I was dog walking somebody would have been and figured that out by now. It would have been all in the newspaper and everything. If you don't believe that, ask Michael Irvin. If you don't believe that, ask Charles Haley. Ask Nate Newton. Ask Tony Romo. When you are in a relationship or anything, everything that you do is multiplied times, and don't get caught doing something stupid. It's gonna get on front page news.
Yes.
So I never will get that in my life. That's kind of like that's kind of like us getting signed to $100 million contract. Then all of a sudden, hey, I deserve what you didn't talk. You wasn't talking on this damn show. When wasn't no background on neither one of our on neither one of our computers. You wasn't talking when hell PSP had to buy us a mic. When we was doing shit on our phones, when we was holding a damn cell phone in place just to try to find the light up, you wasn't doing none of that shit. So what gives you the right to come into anybody's life and decide what you want out of their life, out of their hard work? People are fucking entitled these days, and that's why a lot of situations are slowly but surely dying at a certain point. Don't come into somebody's life entitled. Oh yeah, I don't blame you from having a prenup. You don't just look. If you're getting this, you will get this because of me. If you decide to leave or do your own thing, get the hell on. But leave with what you came with. If you came with just yourself, leave with just yourself. You deserve nothing. God gave me the ability to earn this. He didn't give us the damn ability to earn this. And the damn thing in here, ours. I earned this. God gave me the ability to earn this myself. So what gives you the right to come in and say, I don't want to sign a prenup? Good. Get the hell out then. If it's about love, sign a prenup. If it's not about love and you just want to be out here flexing for the gram and buying Birkins, then don't sign it. But don't bring your ass around me with that nonsense because you ain't getting a dime.
Damn, ladies, better be careful how you upset the big fella. Just be careful.
I mean, am I even if
You're
she
you,
was
you're
a
not
woman?
you're not you're
Being
not
Even if
married.
she
lying,
was a
but
woman, if Angel Reese got married to a guy and he was only making $500,000, which she's with Wendell Carter now. If Angel Reese or even Caitlin Clark, they get with somebody and they making $29 million a year, what the hell gives this dude the right to come into their life and say something? I need this. I ain't finna sign no prenup. Good, get your ass on.
yeah, but big fella, what did you say? People are entitled. Look at Kayla and Nicole. Do I look like I'm somebody that will settle for 50-50?
Okay, now you ain't doing nothing. So
Exactly. Now you single.
and now this man,
You single.
and
Now she single.
now this man married to a billionaire, and
And
he
that
worth.
exactly.
And the thing is, people act like he worth over $150 million right about now. His podcast is on point. Him and his brother got a beer company together. So I mean, hey, and let's just be clear: when he was with that girl, everybody was eating that damn relationship up. That being Caleb Nicole. So I don't, man. Man, look, don't come into my life thinking you finna get. Look, everything that I give you is out of love, out of care, sincerity, and everything. But once you step outside the bounds of that and you decide you want to do your own thing, you want to go do something else, go do something else. But you ain't finna do it with the shit that I built. Hey, no, no, sir.
BRF.
Hey, he's not wrong. One of the ultimate gauges as far as relationships, as far as celebrities go, is is that prenup. That is the test because if that person coming in if that person's coming in a celebrity's life, whether it's a man or woman, and they're not willing to sign it, then you've pretty much solved like 95% of the problem. The other 5% is getting them away from you because they're not in it for the love; they're just in it for what they can gain at the first sign of trouble, the first sign of things going wrong. So I don't blame Dak Prescott at all for that because he worked really hard being a quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. One of the most, if not the most, scrutinized, criticized, spotlighted team in the entire National Football League, and has made a hell of a career for himself. And so I don't blame him at all for that. Hey, Champ said it, boy, stay scheming. Chicky wasn't with me shooting in the gym. Like, hey, it's how it
Ooh,
really is. That's how exactly. That's how it is. That's how it is. Um, but yeah, Dak. He's a baby face. He's a baby face, and just never in trouble with the law, never really like, throwing teammates under the bus, never done anything like that in the media. Has always been first class citizen, first class teammate, first class leader of face of that organization, as the quarterback. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. You gonna know my pick for this when we get to NFC East. I'm picking the Dallas Cowboys to win that division. I'm gonna go ahead and get it out of the way now. I'm picking them to win that division. That team is built defensively. It's probably the best built defense we've seen since those, like, I would say, like that 20, that like when Michael Parsons got there, those first like 3+ years or so, what they were doing on defense with Michael Parsons. This is like the best constructed defense I've seen on that team in a while. You add Rashawn Gary, you got Rashawn Gary and Kenny Clark. You got them from the Green Bay Packers. Donovan Ezraku, breakout defensive end for them. DeMarvion Overshawn, athletic freak of nature, is back. You add Kobe Durant to that defensive backfield with Deron Bland. You draft Caleb Downs, who's going to be like your almost like your poor man's Nick Emenwari in terms of being multi-dimensional, multifaceted on that defense with the things that he can do. So I'm really liking this team. Can't believe I'm saying this about the Dallas Cowboys, but I'm actually really liking this team and how they're constructed. And with that being at the forefront, with that offense, George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson, underrated tight end. Like you mentioned, they were able to keep Javante Williams. That offensive line on the come up, getting better and better and better. I but it's really with Dak at the forefront because the way, even though they finished 7-9-1 and missed the playoffs, the way he toted that team. Yeah, you right. You right. You 1,000% right. Um, the way he toted that team on his back when they just absolutely had no defense to speak of, when you know they couldn't even stop a nosebleed, and he's still out there just giving it his all and keeping his offense and keeping his team in so many games, even though they couldn't win, even though they didn't win them all and they missed the playoffs. Just his standard of play, like you really couldn't say enough as far as like how good he was the second half of the year, even though they didn't win a lot of games, but just his sheer will to tote his team on his back and keeping them in a lot of close games, and just that's just a testament to the man and the player Dak Prescott is. I mean, I think at some point we talk about his playoff failures all we want to, but ultimately at the end of the day, we have to really we really have to give this man his flowers in terms of how he's able to consistently produce. He is, no matter the scheme, no matter the roster construction around him on offense, he's able to get it done. Whether he has Des Bryant, Jason Witten, and Ezekiel Elliott behind him, or whether he has, the current constructed team he has now with Pickens and CD and Javante Williams and Jake Ferguson. I mean, he's been able to do it regardless. And like I said, he's just been a model leader for that team. And the Skip Bayless situation really pissed me off a little bit because men, and particularly the black man in America, like, we can't speak up. We can't always speak up. We can't always really kind of say what's on our mind and say what we're feeling, because that's looked at as like, weakness. Like, nah, just wipe the dirt off, just shrug it off and keep doing and keep going. Y'all, I'm gonna say this. Sometimes it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to not be okay. Because as long as you have the right support system, as long as you have people around you, even whether it's family, whether it's a therapist, doesn't matter. As long as you got a support system there that's going to listen to you and is going to take your feelings in heart and have your best interests at heart, you're going to be okay. It's okay to not be okay sometimes. I appreciate that Prescott in the heat of the moment like that, coming out and just saying flat out, he was not happy. He was depressed. He was thinking about it. And that's
Especially the
scary.
fact that, especially considering how he lost his brother.
Yeah, exactly. Especially considering how he lost his brother. That is scary stuff to think about. We have to really, with these celebrities and these athletes making these hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, we just think they have the world at their feet and everything is okay and they could just snap their fingers and everything is just great. It's not always like that, because come money like that comes with it is pressure, responsibility, all that, because you're toting so much on your shoulders and so much burden on your back, when you, especially with him being the quarterback of America's team, the pressure and the responsibility that comes with being the face of that franchise from a player perspective. You don't know what that does to a man sometimes. You don't know what type of weight that puts on somebody's shoulders like that. And for him to come out and just publicly say, I had those thoughts on my mind, and to get it out there, that's courageousness, that's bravery, that is something you respect. People, my people, it is okay not to be okay. We are not perfect. We are all in this world together. We bleed the same, we get dressed the same. Nobody's immortal, nobody's above anything. Somebody like that Prescott coming out and just having his heart in his sleeve and just really getting it out there, to me, that's just as courageous as anything out there in the world. And we shout out brothers like Dakota. Dakota Rain Prescott. We shout out brothers like that. Really getting their feelings out there and just letting it known that you can talk. It's okay to talk because at the end of the day, we'd rather you talk now than us talk about you when you're 6 feet under. Talk,
Exactly.
talk now and get it out. Dak Prescott to me is a baby face for so many reasons, but ultimately one of the biggest reasons for me is the mental health awareness and the fact that he's going through that and he can relate to anybody going through that and he's not ashamed to talk about it at all. I shout out brothers like him who can put themselves on Front Street, 10 toes down, stand on business, but remind people it's okay to not be okay. Shout out to him. He's most definitely a baby face.
Champ, just in case, because you were kind of lagging because of the Wi-Fi issues. Just to be clear for everyone, undisputed world champ has Dak Prescott as a babyface, considering the fact that model of consistency on and off the football field, no off the field issues whatsoever. Again, when it comes to playing for the Dallas Cowboys, America's team, in the position that you play, carries a lot of weight and a lot of responsibility, living up to Roger Staubach, Troy Aikman, Tony Romo. So, Champ, just to let everyone know on your position on babyface heel, you have Dak Prescott as an undisputed babyface. So it's BRF and myself. Um, I'm gonna keep this real short and quick because we got a little bit over 30 minutes left. Brandon Ayuk. It's pretty obvious heel at this point. And
Next.
did you
Yeah,
see
yeah.
what I just sent you? He just bought a $10 million Virginia home.
You won't need that when your ass is unemployed. I don't understand why the fuck would you buy that for? That's just like me
That
going out here and buying me a PS5. I know damn well I'm gonna need that for groceries next week.
he bought a
That's
ten
dumb as
million dollar
hell.
home and he bought a $10 million home in Virginia. That only tells me one thing of where he wants to
No,
go.
Champ, I'm not joking. I
No,
sent you
I
the
know you're
video.
not joking, but the thing is, Brandon Ayuk, man, look, let's just be clear. You are a I'm not gonna even say a poor man's version of T.O. or Antonio Brown. You the broke man's version of those guys.
Mm.
You have a third of their talent, but yet you're being a diva. And like I said in a couple weeks ago, you already had the bag. It wasn't like you're clamoring for a new contract or anything. You had the bag and messed all of it up with your mouth, and your antics. Now you're over here buying $10 million homes. You're over here flexing for the gram. And the thing is, how the hell you know you're gonna be able to go to Commander after you just alienated your best homie? You alienated him. That was
Not
your
only that,
last hope.
not only that, he also talked about his mama.
Yeah, you talk about somebody now, that's grounds to get your ass punched in the damn mouth.
Yes,
If
exactly.
not dumped on you, if not, hell, you got bro. That you talk about somebody's mama, you might get tombstoned. So I'm just
Certain, th-
being real.
certain things you don't talk about. You don't talk about
Yes,
man's family, his kids, anything like that. I
exactly.
mean,
Like, bro, chill out.
Exactly.
You got the bag, you fumbled the bag, and the thing is, only thing you had to do is how dumb you really are. The only thing you had to do was show up. That's all you had to do is show up. So you're doing these. You're not Antonio Brown. You're not T.O. You're not a third of what they were. You're not even a third. You're not a fourth of what they were. I'll give you 1/5 of their talent. You're not what they were. You're not this guy that is just like teams are just clamoring in order to get you.
big
You
fella.
are a diva receiver who has good ability. We saw what you could do. You tore your ACL. You got that bag right before you got the bag, and you're still out here acting a fool after you got the bag. If you want to be traded, be traded. But you can be professional about the shit. Heal.
Big fella, we gotta stop using the analogy between Brandon Ayuk and T.O. T.O. Look, I get that T.O. was difficult and he didn't have the greatest reputation in the world, but last time I checked, T.O. didn't have these types of off the field issues. Say what you want about Terrell Owens. Last time I checked, he had no serious issues. no legal issues, because remember, there was a warrant for Brandon Ayuk's arrest. We can't disregard that. It's
Sad.
it's undisputed heel with Brandon Ayuk because you got the bag. I'm trying to. I was contemplating at one point who the bigger dumbass between him or Rasheed Rice, and it's pretty obvious it's him, because even though Rasheed Rice is crazy as hell and I wouldn't trust him, he ain't got the bag. Brandon Ayuk already got the bag and he already fumbling. Hell, we saw the video, the social media of him throwing the money while he was in the closet. At this point, why should I trust you? And again, in my organization, with the new ownership and Josh Harris. Now, again, if this were Dan Snyder as the owner, knowing how creepy,
Volatile.
I was trying to be nice. I was going to say creepy. Creepy is an understatement, an enormous understatement.
Volatile.
Boy, you talk about my pipe bombs, yours. Okay,
Is
but
it really a
that's just,
pipe bomb when I'm telling the truth?
you are, but I thought you wanted to be nice. I thought you wanted to be conservative, but okay. But you don't say that
Brandon,
about the president.
Brent,
But you don't say that about the president. Yet the president talked about LeBron James as a racist. But that's a story for another day. I digress.
Because I don't pay. The thing is, I don't even pay attention to stupid shit like that because he just says stuff like that to rile folks up, and you know some dumbass idiot out there is gonna fall for a hook, line, and sinker. That's how come I give it no attention. Because the more attention I give it, the more some dumb idiot is gonna fuel the fire. Say, here he is. They're gonna really believe that. So that's the reason why I say that. You know
But
I
my
ain't lying. Somewhere some dumbass idiot is up on the comment. He is. I'm
I
like,
mean,
shut
you
your
ain't
ass
lying.
up, bro.
but
You
my
ain't
thing
lying.
is, look, at the end of the day with Brandon Ayuk, man, he is a heel. And if Josh Harris and Magic Johnson and this Washington Commanders organization brings him on, that tells me you haven't learned from the past. And the thing is, you just bought a $10 million home
You gonna
in
need that money when you
Virginia.
go through the. You gonna need that money when it's unemployment time, brother.
And we hear here so many athletes who keep screwing up, they file for bankruptcy. BRF.
Yeah, I mean, Brandon Ayuk is a clear, definite heel. I mean, and it's crazy, no, because like Champ was talking about like Antonio Brown and Terrell Owens. See, here's my thing. Terrell Owens is a Hall of Fame wide receiver. Antonio Brown eventually probably will be a Hall of Fame wide receiver.
I don't
But
think he going in though.
honestly though, if if certain players can get into the Hall of Fame with their past
Hell, Bully Ball
experiences,
Page got in.
you know what I'm saying, with their past experiences, I wasn't gonna name no names, but past experiences, past whoa, wow, mm,
Now I'll show
interesting,
it again. Brandon Ayuk
interesting.
reminds me of a disgruntled, ravishing Rick Rude. LOL. Didn't he post a video of him speeding online? Yes, he did.
Yeah,
Wasn't
he
that
did.
like the warrant for his arrest?
Yeah,
That's what the warrant was for.
he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
That's nothing compared to AB situation in Dubai, in which we won't get into further
but
detail.
but Brandon Ayuk, when he is healthy and his head is on straight, Brandon Ayuk, from a talent perspective wise, is a top 15, 20 receiver from a talent perspective. The problem is he's stupid. He's stupid. Like you had the opportunity, you had one of the opportunities of a lifetime in terms of San Francisco probably don't want you at this point. They'll probably honestly at this point they'll probably trade you. They'll trade you for a water and a bag of peanuts at this point. I mean, so I mean, like, and like Washington would have been like right there, reunite you with Jaden Daniels. You played at ASU together. You already have camaraderie there. You you badmouth him. You badmouth his mama, and it's like there's no remorse. There's no stepping back. You just keep the pedal on the metal of the dumbass car, and you just keep your best foot forward. And you're not doing anything to salvage. You're not doing anything to salvage yourself. Like bro, you honest to God are too talented actually of a wide receiver to have all this stupid stuff happen to you. You are. Let me tell you something. We saw you your first couple of years in San Francisco. You were ready to become the one. You were ready to become the alpha of that squad, and you just like it didn't even matter. And now, and you think we supposed to take you serious now? No. At this point, you might as well just take your butt to the CFL and play for the Toronto Argonauts for all we care. Because I mean, at this point, it's like why should we care about Brandon Ayuk at this point? He doesn't. Why should we care? I mean, it's just one of those things where it's at this point you've earned at least a good year and a half, 2 seasons on the unemployment line to really get your head on straight and get yourself together. If I'm a team and I need a wide receiver, I would take on a no power in his left leg Tyreek Hill before I take a chance on Brandon Ayuk. That's just how bad he's done it to himself.
I gotta ask y'all this question real quick because we got like 24 minutes because I gotta edit all this stuff. If you had a choice between Brandon Ayuk or Rasheed Rice, who would you rather want on your team?
Rishi
I
Rice.
go I go get somebody. I go get somebody off the. I go get Tyreek Hill. I wouldn't get
If
either one of them.
Big fella, you got to make at least a
if
choice
you're gonna
between the
give
two.
me if you're gonna give me a choice, I'm gonna take Rasheed Rice because he had mentioned like Rasheed Rice ain't got his paper yet, so there's still some hunger there to get his bag. So I would take Rasheed Rice over Brandon Ayuk because I feel like when he gets on the field, he's gonna be healthy. He's gonna be hungry enough to get his money. But Brandon Ayuk, he looks barely motivated enough to run a dig route.
Big fella, you got to make a decision between them two.
I take Rasheed. I take Rasheed, but I'm not. Man, both of them dudes is
Yeah,
both of them dudes. Both of them
champ,
dudes been pretty basic.
but champ, you cannot argue. Brandon Ayuk is a bigger fool than Rasheed Rice because unlike Rasheed Rice, Brandon Ayuk got the bag.
I don't know though.
I mean, both of them. Hey, look,
It's pretty
if you
close to
put
be
two
honest
fools,
It's
with you.
pretty close.
if you put two fools in front of each other, how do you recognize which one is the bigger fool?
I
Yeah,
think Brandon Ayuk is the bigger fool because with Rasheed Rice, with all them shits he's been through, with the car chase situation, the probation violation,
But
all
even
these
before
other
that, he fell
things.
in the draft because of character issues. Like he
Yeah,
fell in the draft because of character issues. So
but
you
but
don't learn your lesson
but
from that and say, I'm not going to jeopardize the bag again.
but considering his history, what does it tell you? You're not gonna change. You become more than what you already are. And
and
when you have the money don't change you. Money makes you more than what you already are. Brandon Ayuk, you already got the money. You already the number one option. You play for a class
look,
organization like the 49ers. And yet, why do you
You in
want out of
California.
the organization and you making 30 million a year?
but
Again. And
this
the
is
thing
why.
is, man, you got
Go
to
ahead,
ask
champ.
yourself, is Rasheed Rice going to even get a damn bag? All the
This is the
bullshit
same.
he been damn doing.
And yet this is the same dude who asked for that type of contract.
He going to ask for Jackson and Jigba type of money. I'm not giving you monopoly money.
I'm telling you.
Shit, you be
I'm
like, I'll
telling
pay
you.
your ass. I'll give your ass a checkerboard and tell you to walk out my office.
And the reason why I say I don't think it's a gap as far as like how great Rasheed Rice. You didn't just get drafted by any franchise. You got drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs to ultimately be the number one receiver to the best quarterback in the league, win 100%, and Patrick Mahomes, who just got cleared to participate in football activities today, by the way.
Yes.
So you got drafted to ultimately be the number one for Patrick Mahomes. You're playing for that franchise. Andy Reid, Travis Kelsey, Patrick Mahomes. You and it's like you have
Shit.
the opportunity.
I
You
like it.
have
He funny as hell though.
I told you he's
you
a comedian, bro. Hey man, been my best friend since ninth grade, bro. That's
you
Hey,
have the you
him
have
and
the
Dwayne though. I mean, we know Dwayne when he talks his shit though, but
where
I,
is
I
Dwayne?
he posted a couple of things in
He
here.
did.
So,
He
Yeah, he
did. He
covered
did
some.
post a couple of things.
but my
Hell
thing,
yeah.
but it's like you have the opportunity of a lifetime to play for a team that's basically cultivating a dynasty as we were speaking at the time, and then you're like this close to getting a bag from the number one franchise in the league currently, and what like you keep getting in trouble. Like, what are we doing? You're about to get a bag from the marquee franchise in football currently right now, and you're blowing it. I think Brandon Ayuk is slightly the bigger fool, but Rasheed Rice is
He's
like
not far off,
he it's like neck and neck.
but
Well,
I
the thing
said
is, if you look at them both, you both went to model franchises. One guy
Yeah.
went to the Kansas City Chiefs. The other guy went to the San Francisco 49ers. First class organization. You have the coaching. You have the development. You have everything at your feet. You have
Laid
other players
out.
around you. You have the example of what to be because of the players before you that
but
this
big
first class organizations have.
but
So
big
at the
fella,
end of
you
the day,
all
both of y'all are fucking idiots because guess what? Can't none of y'all stay out of trouble.
but big
And
fella,
the
what do
only
you
difference is
always
one
say
person
about
got
the
the bag and
bag?
the other person didn't.
But that's my but big fella. The only reason why we wrapping up because we got like 20 minutes left because I got to edit. But if you already got the bag, why you fucking up? It's one thing to understand someone fucking up when they don't have the bag and when they known for fucking up all their life. But when you already got the bag, when you the number one option, when it's clearly you making 30 million a year and you playing for a class organization, and when you have a guy like Kyle Shanahan as an offensive guy, even though we look at Sean McVay, we look at Andy Reid, we look at a lot of other things, why are you fucking it up in an organization? Especially with a great organization like San Francisco. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair.
That's fair. But fellas, we got like 20 minutes left. I'm gonna let BRF go first because we got 20 minutes. Favorite Samuel L. Jackson moment.
favorite Samuel L. Jackson moment. Gosh, let's see. Golly,
Django?
Pulp Fiction.
Oh yeah.
Pulp Fiction. Do they? What is it? It's Pulp Fiction. You what? Do they speak English and what?
I
English,
will strike down
motherfucker.
upon thee with
Yeah,
great vengeance and
vengeance and
furious anger.
furious envy. English, motherfucker. Do you speak it? Like,
Yes.
like,
Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah. Do they speak um, gosh, yeah, like just Pulp Fiction. I mean, of course, you can. I am sick and tired of these mother snakes on this mother plane. Yeah, come on, man. I mean, that was literally a whole like 2-3 year meme. Snakes on the plane. Just just insane. Um, his performance in the first reboot of the Shaft movie, the first Shaft that he was in, he did a hell of a job in that. Particularly his scenes with Jeffrey Wright were just funny and just incredible. Like the scene where he threw the basketball up in the window, made that man he made that man waste whatever he was eating, drinking or whatnot, and
I
homeboy
peeped
running
this.
down the and homeboy running down the steps, and and Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright is like one of the most underrated actors out there, and he's just the way he nailed that role as Peoples, like you want to come mess with my money, man. Yeah, I mean, just that accent, just you could just, boy, he was so good. He was so good in that movie. Um, gosh, what else was Sam? Um, you can't talk about enough him being Nick Fury, in the MCU. You can't talk enough about him being Nick Fury, and there's this like blooper video that's just like completely viral right now of him talking to someone and Tom Holland's in the background laughing at him because he's what it was like. I want you to stop by that Chinese and West Indian place, wings and things, and pick us up some food before we get back. just, just bad. What else? What else?
Hateful Eight.
I count 6 shots. I count
Yeah,
six
no,
shots.
Django,
I
Steven.
count two
Oh
guns.
my God. I have never in my life, in all of my 40 plus years of life watching movies, I've never in my life, there are like a few villains that I literally hated in a movie. Steven in Django Unchained is one of those villains. Samuel L. Jackson played that role so good. You literally wanted to teleport through the TV screen and literally kick him in his forehead. Like he pissed you off
Yeah.
so bad in Django. Like especially the scene where they captured him, and he's just like right there, holding Kerry Washington's character, and he's just like, I don't give a good goddamn what you believe. Either you surrender or we gonna blow this brains out. And I'm just like,
Or
bro.
the fact when Django shot him in the knees.
Oh gosh.
Please, Jesus,
Please, let me kill this nigga. Boy. Oh boy. And he's leaving. He didn't already set the explosives up and everything, and he lit the explosion. He walking out, and Steve is still running his mouth. And right before the house broke, Django, you uppity son of a boo.
Oh my God.
But bro, Samuel L. Jackson is one of those ones. And let me tell you something. I think there was like a, before I let Champ go, there's a certain stat that they had on him, because we know how famous he is with the MF word. They said out of all the times he said that word, and then he's earned like over I think he's earned over like $1 million+ for every time he said that word in the movie. So he's made like almost
Over 100 times.
Yeah, he said it over like 100 times in movies. So he's made like over like $100 million just off of that one word alone. But at the same time, though, the only person really in comparison that says it like him is Bernie Mac, and God rest his soul. So it's just, bro, like, man.
And the two of them were in the movie together.
So, oh, gosh, Lord, Soul Man,
Yeah.
Soul Man. Oh, that scene.
Do it for Marcus.
That scene where
Do it for me.
That scene where Bernie Mac was just reading him for felt. Like, I'm Floyd Motherfucking Henderson. Ain't that a bitch? Like, boy, oh my God. Marcus, may he rest in shit.
All right, big fella, we got like 14 minutes left, man.
Since my best friend in the chat, Hateful Eight, bro, I cannot tell you how many times. I really forget we was quoting that shit at a birthday party of a friend of ours, Big Cal. We damn near got kicked out the restaurant for quoting it, because we had everybody in that room laughing from reciting that damn movie. I know that part by heart when he was talking to that general, man. That is the craziest thing.
Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, Officer Tenpenny.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he deserved to die, and I hope they burn in hell. That was one of his most iconic moments. I mean, I know it was a sad movie, but yeah, that was one of the most iconic lines. Hey,
oh yeah, somebody posted, "Hold on to your butts."
And look, let's not forget when he played in Die Hard with Bruce Willis. If you have to shoot me, then you go ahead and you shoot me. But I have to answer this phone. Already, he picked the damn phone up ahead. I'm like, what the heck?
What about the one with him and Salma Hayek?
Yeah, I remember that one too.
Oh yeah, the Hitman. The Hitman's Bodyguard.
Yes.
Yeah, and he know what I'm talking about. We damn near got kicked out that damn restaurant about it. Oh yeah, let's not forget, man. Last one I'm gonna do so we can move on. The robbery scene from Coming to America.
Yeah,
I'll blow your damn head off.
But what about Do the Right Thing? Time out. Y'all take a chill. You need to cool that shit out. And that's the double truth. Roof.
Yeah. Hey. I think Captain Marvel was a good one.
Yes. Where is my super suit?
Hey, if you really want to watch a real good action movie that was very, very underrated of his, one of my favorite movies of all time is Samuel L. Jackson. Long Kiss Goodnight.
Yeah, boy. Him and Gina Davis.
Yes.
I know I'm digressing, but remember the Chappelle skit, the Samuel L. Jackson beer?
The beer?
Good motherfucking George. Is that me, Samuel Jackson? It's my beer. Yes, they deserve to die. And I hope they burn in hell.
Drink Samuel Jackson. It'll get you drunk. You'll be fat girls in no time.
You might even find it You too. Bitch.
You
How
might
many
even
days,
slap a
motherfucker?
nigga too.
Ah!
Bitch.
All right, fellas, we got 11 minutes left. 11 minutes left. Favorite Mace track.
Bad, 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 bad boy. You make me feel. Yeah. Look, I know they cool now. They cool now. They've reconciled their differences. But that diss he made against Cameron that time was just amazing. I never forget one of the lines that he said. He said, "Any dude that ever had diplomatic immunity is dudes that ratted on one and snitched on no community." I'd never forget that line ever. That was crazy. And look, I remember that one. Tell me what you want. Uh, hey, welcome back. That one was a
Mm-hmm.
good one.
You stole my
Hey,
one.
huh?
You stole my one. Great minds think
Yeah.
alike.
Breathe, stretch, shake. Let it go.
Let it
Breathe,
go.
stretch, shake. Let it go. Hey, fortunately for Mace, man, look, people can talk about his hiatus when he first left because he was one of the hottest guys in the industry at the time. But look, I think he said it best. Thank God I left when I did. And thank God I knew when to leave the second time around. Because guess what? There's no telling what kind of dirt and stuff would have been on my name as of right now. So big shout out to Mace, man. You know, you made good music, you made a good podcast, and hey, you're paying dividends now and you're back with Cam. So big ups to you. But like I said, I hate that I had to break up that song. But when he said that line, anybody that ever had diplomatic immunity is people who ratted on one and snitched on their community. That was crazy. I was like, well, and what's so funny about that? They squashed
Mm.
it on Twitter the next day.
Mm.
BRF, man, we got a little less than 10 minutes.
Well, okay. Well, it won't take me long because let me tell you something. There's some Mace tracks y'all didn't even name. Well, I mean, besides like "Feel So Good" and "Tell Me What You Want," "Why You Over There Looking at Me," "While My Girl Standing Here." Oh, that whole Harlem World album is slept on and underrated. 24 Hours to Live. Um, my favorite track off of that whole one um was the Play Away, him and 8 Ball and MJG. Oh man, loved it. That was like my favorite track on that whole album. Yeah, and then of course when he when he came back, Welcome Back, Breathe, Stress, Shake. But honestly, I feel like I think that Harlem World album is slept on, and it was just really good. It's for me, it's almost a no. It was almost a no skip album. That Harlem World album was really good. It's like, and Bad Boy Records didn't have like they were making records and they were selling, but when you listen to some of them, they weren't all really that good to me. But Harlem World was one of them albums. Was like if Mace had to, I'm glad, and I think for his sake, he probably glad he left the game when he did. But Mace probably would have a few more classic albums if he really stayed around and was like making music because Harlem World is a classic album. It's one of the best ones to me under that Bad Boy umbrella is one of the best albums made. And then of course, we ain't gonna talk we ain't gonna talk about sliding, slipping and sliding. He who shall not be named for this moment of time. But the duets Mace had with him, like, been around the world and can't nobody hold me down. I mean, we can
Yeah.
kind of we mean say what you want, but I mean those were hit records and those were classics. So, but yeah, my favorite Mace track is probably the Play Away because him. I never thought I would hear a song with him and 8 Ball and MJG on it, but and 8 Ball and MJG are like one of my favorite rap groups ever. So getting them on a track together was just it was perfect, and the song is perfect. So, but yeah, shout out to Mace, yeah, because that it is what it is podcast is like I laugh just about every time I see a clip of that show. Him and Cameron just, oh Lord.
Welcome back. That was definitely the song for me after the hiatus. Feel so good. But some of the features, More Money, More Problems that he was in, Love Me, Take Me There with Maya and Blackstreet.
Mm,
So that's what I like about with Mace, man. And big ups to him. He's doing this thing with his podcast with him and Cameron, man. It's good to see, man. So I'm happy with that. But fellas, we got a little over 6 minutes left. Just want to make sure we wrap it up. That concludes the rest of the Sports PSP podcast. BRF, I'll let you have last word, man. Tell them where to follow you at and what you got to say.
yes, sir, absolutely. Be as always, BRS Sports. It's a TikTok handle. My link tree is in my bio on my TikTok, Facebook, IG, X/Twitter. I have my own Discord. I have my own BRS Sports Discord as well. definitely get in there. The link is always active, so feel free to find the link tree, click it, join up, have some fun. Have some fun. I'm always looking for people. It's always a pleasure to get on here, sharing the spotlight with y'all. Always having a blast. I ain't gonna lie though, that got doing Andrew Tate segment, boy. I ain't laughed that hard and God know how long, boy. That was great.
That was about as crazy as the game the other night on Versus when he drank that whole
Boy,
bottle of Don Julio.
Oh, he
and
really
and
drunk that bottle of Don Julio. That one AI.
that
That
was
was
that was
him.
not AI, and he also had a bottle flung at him at the time too. Bless his heart. Bless his heart. YG 19 apparently 19-3. YG murdered him in that verses. Like bless his soul. Bless his soul. But yeah, man. Shout out to y'all. Y'all doing your thing. Shout out to everybody in the pot and grind. I mean, it's always a pleasure to get on here. Just happy to laugh and have fun and do what we do. A topic not thought about is a topic not talked about. Thank y'all for having me. It's always a pleasure. We're gonna keep this bad boy rolling.
No
So
doubt about that.
that's what's up.
Big fella.
Hey, since my best friend is on this thing, shout out to the Wolf Pack. Got to say shout out to the Wolf Pack, man. All 8 of us. So shout out to the Wolf Pack, man. Shout out to the big three, me, Josh, Kyle. So those are the big three, man. Hey, I'll see you tomorrow, Josh, man. I'm gonna holler at you tomorrow, man. Get a chance to roll tomorrow, see what we can do, see what we can cook up tomorrow. But man, always a privilege, a pleasure, and an honor to be on the show, man. Check on your people at all times. Pay attention to what's going on around you at all times. And look, I'm gonna say this lightly. I'm gonna say this on the clean side. Don't be nowhere you ain't supposed to be, because you'll find yourself somewhere you ain't supposed to be. Do with that information what you will.
Fellas, thank y'all for y'all contributions on the Sports PSP podcast. None of this would have been possible if it were not for y'all and for God and everyone else. Thank everyone. Shout out to, again, like I said, Mama PSP for doing the best she can, and of course the magnificent and amazing D. Shout out to Kia, shout out to Nessa, shout out to JoJo. We're gonna keep on doing the Sports PSP podcast. Can't wait for football season, not just with the NFL, but also college football season as well too. So be on the lookout for that because we're definitely gonna do some content. Shout out to our guy Grant because he sent us the news that Shams with LeBron. So big ups to Grant. Hopefully we'll get him on the pod at some point in time. Shout out to the rest of the podcast crew, from Brandon, Trent, Maria, Broad, Harrison, Hot Take Kenny, Certified Chris, Culture, Shad, the list goes on and on, man. A lot of great content creators and casual too. If you want basketball content, follow casual. But everyone, please enjoy the rest of the weekend. Like I always say at the end of every episode, if you're going to drink, hell, I'm going to get me a couple of margaritas as well too. But please, in all seriousness, please drink responsibly. At all times, please drink responsibly. Be safe. Be with friends and family. Enjoy the remaining days of summer. And we is